Is up, everyone? Welcome back to the stream. We are here with some Sunday afternoon. It's not quite Sunday night. Sunday evening 40K, I guess. I'm psyched. I hope everyone in the chat is ready for some sweet online 40K action. This is the finals of the first Rapidfire pod for T5S2 Season 2. For those who don't know, Rapidfire pods are events that we run out of the Discord server. !Discord in the chat if you want to get a link directly there. If you want to join us in the server, we play tons of games of Warhammer 40K. All the ways, constantly. We're running Combat Patrol right now. We got tons of Combat Patrol games going. We got tons of 2,000 point GT games going. It's crazy up in there. So come join us in the Discord if you haven't. But Rapid Fire pods are paid events, and they do offer some prize support. So these players are playing for keeps today. We're playing for money. We are in the finals of this 8-player event. Players have fought through 2 other games to get here. And interestingly, I think Skauki on his side of the table has already played against Harlequins once in this event. So he's practiced for this matchup, playing White Scars, ready to go up against Decisive's Harlequins. So obviously we have Skauki in the blue, playing White Scars, playing a pretty standard version of a White Scars list, but one that I think is pretty classic. This is going to be the sort of final last hurrah, I guess, for the 8th edition Codex. This will probably be the last game that we stream using the old Space Marine rules. The new rules are out. They're now legal for pods, for any pods starting this weekend or later. And so we'll have those on in the future rather than the old stuff. But we got one more game for you from the old edition. And we're bringing out some White Scars goodness for this last game, I think, very appropriately. Over on the red side, we have Kaseizi playing Soaring Spite Harlequins. These are the advance and shoot pistols guys. So there's kind of 2 camps typically for Harlequins. I think you're either Frozen Stars for +1 attack, or you're Soaring Spite for shooting your pistols more. And we are playing some fusion pistol spam up in here today. I think generally speaking, people have decided that the fusion pistol spam's a little bit more powerful. Typically blows up a lot of heavy infantry. A lot of vehicles just get ripped right off the table from those players with fusion pistols. So being able to get those guns on target is very important. And unfortunately, with the Frozen Stars, you're only able to just move 16 and shoot. So sort of an anemic 22-inch threat range from those guys. Whereas Soaring Spite, you can advance those there's the Star Weavers, and really get a bunch of melt shots getting on people. I want to thank everybody in the chat for joining. James Coulter in the chat, giving us a talk, playing Combat Patrol against both White Scars and Harlequins. They are both terrors in Combat Patrol for sure. White Scars can bring some of the most powerful Smash Captains, I think, that Space Marines have access to. At least the most dangerous ones, maybe not the tankiest, but definitely they put up a good fight. And at 500 points, that's pretty brutal. Not to mention the Harlequin Skyweavers is 500 points. Getting 6 fusion pistols on something, if they can, just rips a lot of units off the table at that low points level, which is pretty good. I want to note as well, I have some fun emojis in here that I'm going to be spamming into the chat. We've got a couple channel updates coming for the YouTube channel, so get ready for those. We're going to have some exclusive emojis for people. We're going to open up a YouTube membership option for people who want to join the channel on YouTube, and they're going to get all of these fun tactical tortoise emojis unlocked for them for streams and for premieres and stuff. You also get a cool little icon on your you get a little turtle for your next to your name. And the turtle matures. It evolves like a Pokemon as your membership goes on, and it gets more guns attached to it. So very exciting. I'm pretty psyched for that. I'll have more news about that later this week. We'll probably have a video talking about all of the perks you can get from adding that. But we're getting some cool custom emojis made, and I'm very excited about that. So pretty cool. But let's get into the list that we're playing today, as the players set up their armies. We are doing some old school setup here, so we're going 1 unit at a time. So this does take typically takes a little bit of time to finish off, and once the players get it all set, they'll be put on their chess clock for the game. !Point lists in the chat for everybody who wants to take a look at them. There's also a link to the lists in the description. A couple these players have used the T5S2 rules that we have to manipulate their pre-games a little bit to get a little bit of a better matchup, or try to get a little bit of a better matchup for themselves. what we do in T5S2 is we actually allow players to. Let me just make sure that this list is correct. We allow players to alter their pre-games before the game. So any sort of at-list building abilities that you have, you'll be able to change. The GT packet is sort of ambiguous on when your list construction actually happens. So we're sort of splitting the difference and allowing players to they build a list beforehand, but their pre-game stuff can be selected after they see their opponent's list. That is, I think, generally speaking, just a little bit more of a balanced game. A lot of factions have very mutable pre-games that they use. They sort of rely on to manipulate their matchups, and unfortunately, the way a lot of events are playing it don't allow that. But the events run on our Discord. We certainly do. So we have over on Kasey's side of the table, we have a Shadow Seer. He's actually swapped out his pregame relic for the Domino Shroud, so that's going to allow that Shadow Seer to teleport at the end of any phase. It can place itself, I think it's 18 inches, but I'm going to double check. 12 inches. That allows you to... It's a sort of get-out-of-jail-free card for that model. Obviously, the Shadow Seer, extremely important for Harlequins, giving that -1 to wound aura to all of your guys, as well as projecting the threat of Twilight Pathways to double move anything on the table for those Harlequins. So that's going to be something that Skauki is going to try to alpha out as quickly as possible, and that Domino Shroud is going to allow Kasey, if a cheeky charge gets too close, if a Smash Captain, flies up and tries to cut that guy in half, that Domino Shroud's just going to allow him to get right out of melee. Swapping that the Shadow Stone for that, which is typically the relic that the Shadow Seer takes, is it's a big trade-off. The Shadow Stone obviously increases the aura of the range of your auras, so that affects a lot of the Shadow Seer's abilities. Their -1 to wound aura, their range reduction aura. Both of those are affected by the Shadow Stone, but we're gonna be sacrificing that for a little bit of extra safety on that character today, which I think is a really heads-up pick on Kasey's side of the table. Following that up, we are playing a Troop Master for Kasey, bringing in the Darkness Bite pivotal roll, using the stratagem to give him an additional pivotal roll on top of Choreographer of War, which is pretty important to get full rerolls to wound once you get into melee. Unfortunately, not a lot of powerful melee weapons in this for the Harlequins in this list. So being able to get those full rerolls, even on the little Harlequin blades that their infantry are carrying, is going to allow them to put a little bit of, chunk a little bit of extra damage through, which will be very good. Obviously, it allows the Troop Master himself to deal a bunch of damage as well. And I should mention that we are using Choreographer of War to give both Shield from Harm and Veil of Illusion to the Shadow Seer, to give both a -6 inch range aura for ranged attacks, but also that -1 to wound aura, which is extremely powerful and affects both shooting and melee. Makes your army very difficult to kill. I think we will have to use the stratagem to make that work on bikers. Typically, that's only infantry, I believe. But I think we have to. There's a stratagem we have to use to make those bikes affected by it. But I mean, theoretically, it shouldn't be a big deal early on, because this White Scars list, it doesn't have a ton of shooting. It's got a little bit, but it's not. It's mostly going to be chopping at you with chainswords, which is in true White Scars fashion. We also have, interestingly, in Kasey's list, we're bringing in a little splash of Ynnari. We have the Incarn. I think, all right, just looking at the list. The lists haven't quite been updated yet, it looks like. The edit didn't go through. So the players' pre-games haven't all been edited there. The Troop Master is bringing the Twilight Fang in addition as his relic, so gets an additional attack for each battle round that the game goes on. And it's a flat 2 damage. He's also using a pivotal roll to get Darkness Bites as well. So he's going to deal mortal wounds every time he fights. Does 2 mortal wounds to something that he allocated attacks to. So a lot of damage output from that Troop Master, obviously. Basically just a guided missile from that guy. Like I mentioned, we also have the Incarn. Just a big beat stick that you can use to really dissuade your opponents from killing your pretty cheeky Harlequin units. This looks like I think we have a prismatic blur going on here. The players roll to go first. Yeah, it looks like Kasazi has won the roll to go first and is going to redeploy with that prismatic blur his bikers up to the front. That's a big deal. Obviously, going first in 9th edition, pretty good. Gives you statistically a pretty big bonus to your win percentage. So, and especially for Harlequins, a faction that is so monumentally fast that they are going to be able to project an immense amount of threat right up the table.
Okay, so I guess one.
Yeah, so it looks like that was probably a combination of probably chromatic storm. Excuse me, not a prismatic blur. It's prismatic blur. Their invulnerable save strat. I think I'm mixing up all of the P words over here. But we have a polychromatic storm to redeploy 3 of those units, and then using 100 Swords of Vol to swap around the last one. Yeah, so it looks like we spent 3 CP per game there for Kasazi to shoot a bunch of these guys right up the table. Interesting. The core of this Harlequins list, obviously, is 5 units of Harlequin troops with 5 fusion pistols apiece, only Harlequin blades in them, no special melee weapons. Also, bringing all of them mounted in Star Weavers with 2 Shuriken cannons apiece.
Sure.
Lastly, we have 2 units of 5 Sky Weavers with Zephyr Glaives and Haywire cannons, as well as 2 Jesters, one bringing Humbling Cruelty for no Overwatch -1 to hit, one bringing Harvester of Torment for extra attacks. I actually am really impressed by this list. I think most lists either sort of pivot fully into the Skyweaver build and they bring 3 units of 5 or 6 Skyweavers, and they just try to ram those into your opponent's throat. Those are usually the Frozen Stars lists for the extra attacks. But this list is bringing both these fusion boats as well as the Skyweavers, which is really, really cool. Really interesting to see how Kasazi does. Obviously, the Skyweaver is not going to do quite as much damage as they do in the +1 attack mask, but being able to support the fusion boats with them is going to be a really big deal. And obviously, being able to go first, rocket these things across the table, blow up a bunch of vehicles with their Haywire cannons, get into melee, and just pin your opponent in their own deployment zone so that you can open up your fusion boats to sort of follow up behind them is exactly the game plan that Harlequins want to be playing. So I think Kasazi really winning that roll to go first puts him in a really dominating position here. Talking about Skalki's White Scars list quickly. He's bringing a Chapter Master, upgraded from his captain, with a jump pack, Storm Shield upgraded to the Teeth of Terra, as well as using the stratagem to get 2 Warlord traits, Dragorian Storm for D3 additional attacks when he charges, and Imperium Sword for an additional attack on top of that, in addition to +1 strength. So, in total, that captain's going to be charging at 6 strength, with the Teeth of Terra swinging 8, 9 plus D3 times, potential of 12 attacks out of this model, all of them strength 6, 2 flat damage, -3 AP. Just monumental damage output from this guy, and especially in the matchup against Harlequins, where they have a lot of mid to low toughness models. Sometimes you'd rather have a Thunderhammer, Smash Captain if you're running into a bunch of vehicles, but typically the heavy vehicle lists have been slowly being pushed out of the meta by Eradicators right now, and people are focusing more on infantry-heavy builds, and especially sort of medium infantry builds that rely on things like Intercessors and Gravis units, and those just get absolutely minced by this build of Smash Captain. The full rerolls is also going to help the ranged attacks a little bit. Obviously, this entire Harlequins army almost entirely is -1 to be hit. So those ranged attacks bounce off the Scar Weavers and the Star Weavers pretty quickly unless you have those full rerolls. So that's going to make things like the 4 bolt gun shots out of each of these Outriders pretty significant. It's going to make all of these random bolt guns off of the troops choices significant. And it's going to help that we do have 2 Grav Cannon Devastator squads in this list, and getting full rerolls on those guys, it's going to be pretty good. So following up that, we have a Chaplain upgraded to a Master of Sanctity with Wise Orator. No shocker there. He's come packing a jump pack as well as Recitation of Focus, Canticle of Hate for his 2 litanies. Obviously, he's also going to have the ability to give out a Litany of Hate for full rerolls to hit in melee if the Chapter Master isn't nearby. Or, alternatively, he can give out that +1 Strength aura as well. Or reroll Wounds aura, I think, from the White Scars Litany. We also have Corsaro Khan to stack on top of that an additional +1 to wound when you charge. To fill out the troops allotment for this battalion, it is 5 Incursors as well as 2 units of Scouts, both of them with combat knives. 2 units of Blade Guard veterans sitting inside, safe inside an Impulsor with a shield dome, as well as a Judiciary, which is going to be problematic, to say the least, for this Harlequins list. And interestingly, I feel like we should take a note of the positioning of the Judiciary. Maybe a little bit of a misposition from Skauki here. This Judiciary doesn't look like it's in a position really to affect units on this right side of the table here. His aura is only 6 inches currently, so it probably extends out to somewhere around here. And if these jet bikes can come in and engage these Outriders, I think we saw the measuring earlier and they aren't quite in range to engage the Inceptors, but they could potentially engage the Outriders without moving into that Tempora Mortis aura, and that will allow them to curtain fall and just pounce right back if they need to. One of the big things we've seen in the past, the big interactions, and we see even saw it in the Season 1 final round, in this matchup, is the ability of the Judiciary to protect a Space Marine army from these melee alpha strikes, and especially from Harlequins, because Harlequins can deny you your swingbacks by just pulling directly out of melee after they swing. But if you're forced to attack with them at the end of the fight phase, your entire Space Marine army gets to punch them before they can curtain fall and get out of melee. So that, you know, as resilient as these Skyweavers with a 3+ invulnerable save are, they will eventually go down to the massed attacks from all of these White Scar Chainswords. Following up that, we do have those 2 units of 3 Outriders, as I mentioned before, as well as a unit of 6 Plasma Inceptors with Exterminators. This is a very interesting pick. I guess just trying to leverage the advance and shoot assault weapons without penalty for these guys, so they can put a pretty reasonable threat range of a lot of 2 flat damage shots out. With full rerolls from the Chapter Master, so they don't blow themselves up too often. But a very interesting pick, I think, from Skauki. A little bit of spice in this White Scars list. This is a Twilight Pathway going down onto one of these Skyweaver units. And it looks like, I think, 2 Prismatic Blurs to make them both 3+ invulnerable saves, as White Scar, or as Harlequins are wont to do. Following up, just to finish off this list, we have 2 Lane Speeder Storms, which I assume have the Scouts embarked inside them, as well as a Rhino with a Stormbolter to carry around those 2 Grav Cannon Devastator squads.
And nothing else because I don't really want 2 barrels.
Deuce 83, yeah, we're playing Soaring Spite today, yeah.
Just gonna put some pot shots on the Outrider.
So, chat, I want to hear from chat. How are people feeling about this matchup so far? Going first for the Harlequins is a really big deal, and we're about to see some tanks get ripped off the table. But if anybody can fight back, I mean, it's a Space Marine army in melee. We've seen plenty of games where the Harlequins do a bunch of damage going in, and then the Space Marines just fight right on through it.
Just 1 damage. Okay, so the red Haywire Barks gonna go for the Impulsor. Oh, 5d6.
So it looks like we're shooting into the Impulsor here with the forward unit of Skyweavers. These Haywire Cannons with the potential to do an immense amount of damage to vehicles with their additional D3 mortal wounds that they can deal. And obviously they're D6 blast shots each, so they have the potential to do sort of cascade a bunch of dice into each other and kind of explode their dice really high. But their base profile is not super exciting. It's Strength 4 -1 AP. So they bounce a lot with their normal shots, but it's the mortal wounds. The EMP on the vehicles, as it were, that really kills them.
The other unit is going to shoot the Storm. So, 5d6. Ooh.
At least it's only a land speeder they did that against.
I'll go ahead and update the list in here with the previous selections, chat, so give me a
5.
moment.
So that's 2 saves and that's D3 mortal wounds. So,
saves. 5 ups. So 1 goes through there. I've taken 3 more mortals as well. So it's taken 4 so far, plus D3 for 3. That just nails it. I think they explode.
And I'm gonna spend 1 CP to fire and fade with them.
Yep, apparently they don't. No ones. 2 ones. Okay, we'll take it.
Two died. Oh, charges. I'm gonna charge the Inceptors. And the bikes, of course, because I cannot go.
If you exclamation point list in the chat to grab the list, they should be updated with the correct pregame selections for these armies. I must not have saved that earlier, so I do apologize for anybody who was confused. Brendolf in the chat. What's up, Brendolf? How's it going?
Yeah, you know, we may as well. I'll give it an Overwatch. Okay. So that'll be 12 D3 shots. They're not gonna overcharge.
Looks like maybe declaring a charge into the Inceptor, so I guess we could get a Skyweaver into melee with them. And they are overwatching. Not overcharging. I might have... I think I absolutely would have considered an overcharge here. One thing you can do, interestingly, with Inceptors is you can actually screw your opponent's charging really hardcore by just killing the Inceptors in charge range of them. If you overcharge those Inceptors and you get even one... if this guy right here overloads his plasma and kills himself...
I'm just going to put 1 guy here
this entire charge
and the 4 guys around him.
So maybe a missed opportunity.
Everybody can hit the Inceptors.
Could have been gross. I almost lost a game in Combat Patrol by an Inceptor squad killing itself, so I couldn't charge it and get my Hive Tyrant out of line of sight from Eradicators. Brendolf just unpacked 2 more boxes of moving stuff. Got my painting station set up. Sick, dude.
Closer.
What are you painting? Are you painting some space walls today?
Okay.
So, time is back on, sorry. Trying to fit. See how many Thunderwolf cavalry I can fit into 500 points. The answer is 6.
Do I want to go? You are 3 up save, 5 up. 3 up normal save, right? I'm gonna spend 2 CP for Murderous Entrance, so I will go up to damage 3.
Yep. So we're gonna +1 damage on these guys. Just try to rip these Inceptors right off the table. But we're burning out of CP pretty quickly here. Something that's pretty dangerous for Harlequins to do. A lot of times they want to keep their CP for late game to use those Curtain Falls hit and runs. But if we see a Curtain Falls here, Casase is going to be burnt out of CP already. 3 CP pre-game to use all of those redeploys is certainly a big bleed. And keeps him out of...
Fight again.
No, I'm thinking about spending 2 and leave combat.
The Curtain Falls for at least 1 or 2 turns.
Fight twice is 3, so... Or I'm just gonna stay here and block your movement at this point.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to move my office around at some point.
Just give me a second.
I have to pack up my painting station too. But I don't wanna. I have all these models that are looking at me angrily because I haven't painted them. It looks like only 2 Inceptors dead there.
I'm gonna spend the 2 and the
that is certainly not what you really want to see from this Harlequin Alpha Strike. Spending down to 0 CP. And then looks like we're just going to be moving to try to move block the White Scars army in place. I mean, this is White Scars. They are fast enough. I don't know if they
I
really.
will say I
care
do
that
have
much.
some incursors up against that wall.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
That's
just
fine.
gonna make
If you-
sure
if you
these
wanna be
guys
outside of
don't
an inch, that's all good.
end within an inch, because that is not legal.
I just want to go to the blade guards cannot go in front.
Interesting move from Kasezi here. Obviously, he doesn't want to engage on this side of the board because of that Tempora Mortis aura that we talked about before. But if he has a little bit more leeway to curtain falls into an interesting position because he has this building he can hit and run through. Unfortunately, nothing like that on this bottom edge of the table here. So he's just going to have to make do with what he's got. I almost might have just stayed in melee, honestly.
Where do I want to move
And
this guy?
although it is White Scars, so they can fall back and charge without problem, so it doesn't really help you too far.
Actually, you know what? If you don't mind, I'm just gonna stay here. No point to go anyway at this point.
Yeah, I think he's realizing the same thing. He's like, oh, I'm just going to get killed regardless of where I stand. We might as well just stop these Outriders from moving as quickly. At least if the Outriders are
At least
engaged,
I
they
have to
can't advance in
Yeah, that's very true.
in their movement phase, and they also have to go around
Fight
the
me with
Harlequins
the
when they
bike.
move. So they have to go around here. They probably don't really threaten into here very much. Not to mention that charging into Outriders is much better than being charged by Outriders, because Outriders will, with their plus a billion attacks on the charge, are really going to crush through some Harlequin models. So I was worried about Skauki's
They have
chances
19
here with the Harlequins getting the first turn and using the redeploy stratagems pretty well. But
You
that
have
was an anemic
3
round
more
of
now
shooting,
because I charged you.
No, so like I only get the +2 for the bikes thing when I charge.
Oh.
I still get shock assault though, but 3 is rerolling.
Chapter Master doing a bunch of work there.
Because I didn't charge, so I don't get +1 to wound either. 5 wounds.
This will be sort of the last stand of the Chapter Master, the old Chapter Master rule, I think.
We'll take it.
Looks like you're just going to plink one Skyweaver for 2.
Okay, so I got 2 points and engage.
Yep.
And I did 1 scrambles in my deployment zone. No morals, so...
And that is going to be it for Kasezi. Not really much damage done. We did plink off a couple of those Inceptors, kept these Outriders stuck in their deployment zone. And really, there's not a lot of avenues of attack for the White Scars in this situation. They don't have incredible attacks they can move. We also left the Impulsor alive, but it is bracketed, so it's a little bit slower. Or a lot slower, I should say. The Impulsors bracket their movement pretty quickly. Those jet engines turn off pretty quickly once you start EMPing them. And not to mention, we should keep in mind as well that if this Skyweaver unit gets killed in the fight phase, the Incarn is going to pop over there and immediately threaten a lot of this stuff. That's one thing that a lot of people forget in especially playing against these Skyweaver-centric builds of Harlequins, is that obviously that Incarn in there is a pretty terrifying foe. And a lot of times the Harlequin player will throw a unit of Skyweavers away to try to make you kill them. You have to commit a lot of damage to kill them through their Prismatic Blur, and then once you do, there's an Incarn there. Usually you don't have enough beef to kill both the Skyweavers and the Incarn in one go, and the Incarn just gets to go ham on your army for a turn. Then if you know, it's sort of a gear check for your opponent. It's a skill check almost, because you also have to have perfect target prioritization for the subsequent round, because if you allow that Incarn to charge you, you don't kill it in the opponent's fight phase. If you shoot any one of these units to death, it just pops back behind cover. So it'll be interesting to see if Skauki can maneuver his way out of this pin. Not a lot of damage from the Harlequins here, but the Eldar Trickery is certainly coming to play. While we're going through the movement phase here, I'll talk about the player's secondary objectives quickly. Kasezi on his side is taking Engage on all fronts. Pretty reasonable pick for Harlequins. He's even he has a Skyweaver in Strategic Reserve, I believe. Yeah, and then all of his characters are standing inside Skyweavers. He's picked While We Stand, We Fight. An interesting pick. Usually a pretty common pick for Harlequins, actually, which is a little interesting. Typically, Harlequins, being a relatively squishy faction, is not something that you would consider to be a good option for While We Stand We Fight, but oftentimes they have the ability to take sort of mid-level characters and make those their most expensive models and then keep them relatively safe. Unfortunately, right now the Incarn is a While We Stand We Fight target, given that it's so expensive. And so it is that is going to be problematic for Kasezi because he does want to keep that model alive, which is always a little tricky. The Incarn wants to sort of go face and dive on your opponent as often as possible. So usually that ends up with the Incarn's untimely demise, but we'll see if Kasezi is able to keep it alive. That is also going to be on, I believe, the Shadow Seer, as well as one of the Star Weavers, excuse me. The one that he has kept in strategic reserve. Yeah, he's marked down. So interesting, interesting pick for this particular Harlequins list, but we have seen While We Stand We Fight do pretty good work for Harlequins in the past. Lastly, we have Deploy Scramblers for Kasezi. Not super surprising, because he's going to be able to. He has the movement to jump all the way across the table, do some actions with his many Harlequin troops in the center, and then get something into the back of his opponent's table edge. We'll see what he's going to be able to get in there. I don't think any of these troop squads are in the webway, so we're not going to be deep striking back there to get that third Deploy Scrambler, but I think there are enough infantry squads here that it shouldn't be an issue for Kasezi to pull off. I think the only downside would be that any of these troop squads that are in his opponent's deployment zone, he's going to want to be shooting those fusion pistols with, and that is a problem. Because obviously you can't be completing actions when you're shooting people with fusion pistols. Over on Skauki's side, we have Engage on All Fronts again. Pretty reasonable pick for a pretty relatively quick army, Space Marine army that also includes Land Speeder Storms, which are excellent at scoring that secondary objective. We have Grind Them Down, an interesting pick. Sometimes a trap, a bit of a trap, because your opponent has control over whether or not you score it a lot of times. But we'll see how it goes. Grind Them Down obviously will score you points if you kill more units during the battle round than your opponent does. This is interesting because it's one of the few secondaries that benefits going second, because then you have you can score it immediately at the bottom of the battle round, so you have a little bit more control over how many units you try to kill. If your opponent only kills one or two things during your phase, you can try to spread your attacks and one-up them to score that secondary out. It also helps that Kaseisi's army is a lot of relatively small units, but Harlequins, each individual unit, the toughness 3 oftentimes gets punched through pretty quickly, but each individual unit typically tends to be a little harder to kill than you expect, and especially if you don't have mortal wounds to punch through their invulnerable saves or something similar, then it's problematic. It can be problematic to finish them off. Lastly, also Deploy Scramblers for Skauki, which is a really interesting pick. I don't believe he has any strategic reserves set right now. Nope, everything is in transports. So getting across the table with his infantry seems a little tough, but he may be able to squeak one of these Land Speeder Storm squads across the table. Some other decent picks, I think, typically for this mission, given that it's a 6-objective mission with the short table edge deployment. We can see the players' deployment zones marked out by the red and blue lines on the table. Those are, because you have 3 objectives in easy striking distance of your deployment zone, Raise the Banners High is often a pretty popular pick for this one, especially if your army is relatively aggressive and can push into your opponent's banners. Then you can typically protect these 3, and if you hold all of those for the entire game, which is pretty reasonable, you will score the full 15 points for Raise the Banners High. So that is a pretty often... pretty commonly picked one. Engage on All Fronts is actually a little tough because you do have to move quite far to get into your opponent's table quarter or table half in order to score it, to score the 2 points. Not a problem for Harlequins, but I think the White Scars might have a little trouble with that one. Deuce 83, I wonder if the 6-inch consolidate after fallback is worth it on the bikes. Yeah, it is only troop players. You have to have the actual Harlequin troop squad to be able to do that. But that is an extremely powerful ability as soon as it comes up. We've seen that in other games, especially in 8th edition, where we saw big 10-man troop player squads really deal a bunch of damage to their opponent. Looks like one Grav Devastator squad piling out of the Rhino on Objective 6. We're going to be throwing a bunch of shots into this Skyweaver squad, trying to take it out. And those Skyweavers being -1 to hit, not that big of a deal when you're already carrying heavy weapons. So those -1 penalties of not stacking doesn't really make a huge difference.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have a Chapter Master standing there anyway. So we'll see how the save rolls go for Skyweavers. That's always how it is. But we may see that Skyweaver squad picked up by these White Scars. And that will be an easy grind them down if anything dies on the Harlequin side of the table, because that is going to... Nothing died on the White Scars side this turn. We're also seeing Skauki able to grab objectives 4 and 5, so he is going to stop Kasezi from scoring the 5 points for hold more, but Kasezi will still score the 10 points for holding 3. Oh, do you see? Yeah, that's a good point. Well, yeah, Land Speeder Storm did die, so he needs to kill 2 things. But I think the hope is that you can kill the Skyweavers in the shooting phase here. If you have to go into the fight phase with it, it's kind of a nightmare because the Unkarn gets to pop in after you swing all your attacks into them. So that could be problematic if you don't shoot them to death. Obviously, if you shoot them and kill them, the Unkarn pops in and you just get to charge him with that Smash Captain and blow him up. Looks like the Inceptor's running away. But we're still going to get shots into these Skyweavers. These, with their 18-inch guns, so that'll be okay. So, Chad, how are we feeling about this matchup so far? Like I said before, I was a little bit worried with the Harlequins going first, but, man, that that initial punch was not that exciting. Just blew up, yeah, like Deez pointed out, blew up 1 land speeder. Which is, all right. Good, cool. Good job, everyone. We shot 10 haywire cannons into a Space Marine vehicle army. Didn't really do anything. James Colger says, R.I.P. Harleys. I got an emoji for that. There we go. We'll see how it goes. I mean, never count the Harleys out. I think Harleys are interesting in the game. They always look like they're losing. They're like, oh... Harleys players always also convince you that they're losing. They're like, oh, look at all these stuff you killed. You killed so many 3+ invulnerable save models. And I have nothing left. And then like one character and a unit of fusion guys like blows up your whole army. Obviously things can go south for Harlequins very quickly, but and then we've seen Harlequins pull back a lot of games that we sort of assumed that they were over. Just by virtue of the fact that their models can randomly not die and are also deal some significant damage in shooting.
I'm just gonna measure the range and copy it, so if I want to move or not.
Oh, it looks like we may be measuring a domino shroud here from Kasezi. This is spicy tech, chat. Oh, man. I would love a domino shroud to trigger right here. So what we're considering, Chad, is using the Domino Shroud to use the 12-inch teleport on the Shadowseer at the end of Skauki's movement phase. That would allow him to catch the Skyweavers in the range of his Shield from Harm and Veil abilities. You can use Foes of the Mind, the 2 CP stratagem, at the start of your opponent's shooting phase to make any mask units, not just infantry, affected by that. And that will make the Skyweavers affected. And that will put the entire Inceptor unit out of range to shoot at them. Downside being there's a non-zero chance you just trade the Shadowseer for that, which is a big loss. The battle's sort of already being engaged, so you don't really need Twilight Pathways quite as much. And that if you lose either one of those units, the Incarn can pop in. And this is actually a relatively safe place for the Incarn to stand. If you kill the Shadowseer in melee, the Incarn can stand here, pick up most of these models, and just sort of fight the battle on this side of the table with the Harlequins pushing into the White Scars back line from that flank. Might see a little bit of a base trade here with the players. These armies just running away.
I said these 3 scouts will do scramblers.
So that looks like that was a domino shred activation, chat. Oh, that's so cool.
I will start with
that is some
devs.
sick tech, everyone.
Yes. They will do. They'll pop the grav strat to reroll wounds, and then they will shoot into the Skyweavers.
Right. We spot my 2 CP strats, so you are -1 to wound.
Yep. So there's the strat to
Okay. Then I have.
give -1 to wound on those Skyweavers.
So his bliss.
And you -1 to hit, of course.
Yeah. So this is the not.
I might have misspoken earlier. I'm actually not sure that the -6 inch range or affects those bikes.
So he hits with all of them, and then
I think that was a mistake on my part. Now that I'm looking at it. No, it definitely does actually. Just kidding.
4s rerolling.
You just don't need the strat to use that. It just actually naturally affects them.
Pretty good. So normally I wound you on 3s because you're T4, but now I wound you on 4s because I'm -1 rerolling for the strat.
All right. Grav doing what Grav does. We're just going to try to force a bunch of invulnerable saves around these guys. Oh!
Damage.
Just 1 because you've only got a 4-up save.
So 1 bike dies,
We've got a little
1 more
range
bike
toward us
dies,
for
and
the-
1 takes
for
a
the
wound.
bikes
And then I will pop the
So that will
cherub,
rip 2 of these
and then
bikes
once I
off.
shoot again,
Grav
and I'll
strat
shoot
not
the
doing
Signum
too
booster
much
dude again,
because
hitting on 3s,
obviously we do not have a
Rerolling.
3+ armor save on these models, so the
and
Grav
wounding
roll
on
for D3
4s
damage does not
rerolling.
come into play.
4 wounds.
Kevin Fitzpatrick, this is the GT2020 mission retrieval mission. So we have 6 objectives on the table. And I believe for this one you have to
Three
hold
Outriders
2 to
will
score
shoot
5
Skyweavers.
points on primary objectives.
They
and
fall
3
back.
to score 10.
It's costed.
You can spam the CP if you want to fall back and shoot.
No, it's not worth it. I will shoot the 5 incursors at them then.
Oh no, it's just 5 points for 1 objective. Excuse me.
I guess 1 will throw a crit grenade instead.
Yeah, we're seeing a bit of an interesting dynamic in the game right now. The
And you -1 to hit.
Harlequins use one the roll to go first. Use the redeploy strategies to put all of their models, all of their damage basically on this side of the table. Ran it all up this flank, and the White Scars just pulled right out. They noped right out of there.
Wound,
so we might see a bit of a base trade in this game, which will be fun.
So 1 more wound on the 2 wound bike.
All right, so
Okay.
looks like a total of 4 or 5 damage through on the these Skyweavers. Puts 1 down to 1, kills 2 of them, including one of the wounded ones.
Or 1 like right.
Yep.
Oh, no. Do that.
I think you might can get the second bike too.
Nice shot. Being on 4s, re-rolling.
Some millimeters, so I'm not going to worry about it.
I'm playing with the players'
Definitely
mics
fine.
mixing here, chat. Let me know if they sound okay or one of them. Skouky was a little quiet.
Charges.
So it looks like that is a very much alive
Riders will
bike squad so far. Ooh.
recharge these side.
I don't think it's worth... It might not be worth killing any of these units, honestly. That gives the Incarn, like, this free
Both units,
enormous
or-
shift across the table, away from your army.
Alright, just a bike.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I think you kind of want the Incarn exactly where it is. Fortunately, I don't think the bikes themselves are going to be able to kill these Skyweavers. They'll need a little bit of help. But I think this Domino Shroud activation was That
I
Domino
guess
Shot
you're gonna
activation is
base me
pretty
so I
ingenious
can
because
fight him.
you really don't want to kill that Shadow Seer right now. That puts the Incarn in a really awkward place.
And yeah, you know what? The Incursors will go for the Shadow Seer.
Sure.
Yeah, the Incursor's going in. They have a pretty low chance of actually
They roll
killing
a four.
the Shadow
Yeah,
Seer.
he's
So,
good.
but that will just get more models onto the
You can't
objective.
heroically intervene with any other unit, can
No, I only can with infantry, but I have no CP, so.
So I think a pretty good follow-up from Kasazi to his first turn there. Good way to kind of bounce and rally on his side. We'll see how well Skauki can
Who do we start with?
fight back
Oh, you're
through
gonna
this
interrupt
army,
on the bikes.
this Harlequins army. But
I cannot interrupt.
Oh no, you've
I
got
have
no
no
CP.
I
Cool.
think
You can just
Okay.
go.
I'll
think
do the
Kasazi's,
Incursors first.
a little bit in the driver's seat,
Okay.
even after that kind of poor turn
Well,
one.
then they should all
I'm
be able to
-1
get
to
in.
wound in melee 2.
Yep, that's fine. So that will be 3 attacks to them, 4 for the Sergeant, so that'll be 16 attacks. They're hitting on 3s, 6s explode, no 6s at times, and 4s to wound.
Yes.
Only 2.
Good.
Which is good.
Yeah, big
Okay,
whiff from the Incursions
and then the
there, so-
Outriders, they will have 19 attacks.
Unlikely
I'll
that
just go
the
get the
that the
dice.
Incarn pops
Yeah,
over
sure.
to the side of the table now, especially since these Outriders, I believe, will be winning these bikes on 5s with the -1.
Hitting on 3s, wounding on 5s.
You don't have the -1
Never
anymore.
mind, 4 cool 4s. Oh well, only 2 anyway.
Ooh, that was a terrible roll.
So 1 bike, guys.
So we kill one more bike down to 2. All right, no
So
Incarn
we
triggers.
fight back with 2 bikes.
I think that's
Put the clock on me.
the best case scenario for the White Scars there would be to leave one
Trees.
bike alive, I think. But I think Skauki will take it.
Toughness
Take
5.
3 dead bikes, a massive CP lead.
Bikes
Stolen
are toughness
objective
5.
5 from
T5.
his opponent.
Yeah, so 5.
I think
1
Skauki's
save.
doing okay right
Minus
now.
2. And Shadow Sphere. 2s. And Strength 5, so 3s. -1. And E3. 1 guy died. So I'm leadership, 8 on the bikes, on a 6, I lose 1 more. No. So you didn't get grinding down, and I get 10 points, right?
Me.
All right.
Okay.
Moving
Let's
back to Kasazi's turn. No grind them down because nothing died that turn.
So the Impulsor is on 5
Not the
minutes.
end of the world, but not an amazing start for the White Scars. Also, no engage in all front scored this turn, which is problematic. But that is sort of the downside of going second. Engage in all fronts is a lot more difficult to score if your opponent is aggressive and goes first. You have to kind of try to make up that points deficit in the late game. But unfortunately for engage in all fronts, those are points that you will never get back. You can't. You have to max every turn in order to max the secondary. So every turn you lose, you miss on scoring. It's not a turn that you can bank for turn 5, because on turn 5 you will not be able to make those back up. I do appreciate how quickly these players are playing, though. We've been having some issues with TTS lately. Tabletop Simulator, I think we're seeing some lag, and it sounds like it's sort of a community-wide issue. with the game getting a little slower as it goes on, especially once you've spawned in armies. That usually slows it down. But these players are trekking along at a pretty good pace. Only 20 minutes off each chess clock so far, and already a full round and a bit into the game. So we should be finished up with plenty of time. Skyweaver's falling back, probably trying to finish off that Impulsor with their Haywire cannons. Obviously, the Harlequin ability is going to be able to allow them to fall back and do whatever they want. That's also moving them into the stable quarter for engaging off fronts, which will be good. So we should be able to max get the full 3 points for that for Kosezi this round. That may be where the Harlequins pull ahead, even if they start losing out on attrition to this White Scars army that's playing very defensively. Being able to deny engaging all fronts while maxing it out themselves, potentially to deny deploy scramblers too, if they're able to knock out this scout squad in a transport. That could be extremely problematic for the White Scars. And like I said, those are points that you cannot get back. Looks like a big advance here. Did we make a little mistake from Skowki and leave a spot open? I think we might have. Uh-oh. I think we might end up with this thing right in here. It looks like there's probably an area with a 1-inch zone that it can stand. And that's kind of brutal. I think Kosezi's probably looking to get a shot on this Judiciary. But he'll take a unit of Outriders, I think. Yeah, just if he needs to.
So,
Inceptors again. I'll do reroll wounds in close combat for people with insect. Yes.
cannot get close enough, I think, to shoot the G. Yeah, so. Up here.
Alright, maybe just looking for a little bit more of a defensive placement there. Would have been nice if you could scalpel at the Judiciary instantaneously, but that seems a little questionable. But if we can just rip these this unit of Outriders off the table, I think we'd like to kill the Landspeeder Storm. If you can kill the Landspeeder Storm, I'm not sure that the White Scars can ever reliably score deploy scramblers because they have no reserves. As far as I know, anyway. Unless one of these things is encircling and I missed it. We also have the potential of seeing a strategic reserve come in for the Harlequins this turn. I don't believe that we will, but we do have a Skyweaver. While we stand, we fight Skyweaver, full of fusion pistol Harlequins, ready to go.
I'm gonna spend the 1 CP on those guys to get the free up.
Yep.
So blur on the large unit of Skyweavers. Trying to get them in the -1 to wound, or the -6-inch range aura. The -1 to wound aura will be gone for them for the rest of the game. Unless Kosezi can regenerate some CP straight up here, but he is mostly going to be burned on CP. I'm just going to reset my camera here real quick, everyone. Give me 1 moment. So how's everybody doing on this Sunday evening? Has everybody been playing some games this weekend? You know, we've had a lot going on in the Discord. Last night there were a whole bunch of games
I put out the
going.
digester from this.
Lots of Combat Patrol.
Yeah, that's
obviously,
fine.
today's the last round, the last day for
Sorry,
the first
bro.
round of our Combat Patrol event, and that's been firing hardcore. Shuma played some geometric shapes against some idiot playing 200 Termagants. What a dummy. Someone who doesn't want their tabletop simulator to process very quickly is someone who plays 200 Termagants.
Before I move, I will get out the Troop Master.
Fine.
Deuce 83 Ash's Thunderwolf Cavalry list is no joke. Watch out, y'all. I'm so excited that the Thunderwolf Cavalry list is legit. I know Ash is super excited about it. She's been adorable in the chat just barking at people, but man, I'm so glad that that list is good. Kevin Fitzpatrick just had my birthday. Happy birthday, dude. That's sick.
Okay.
Was a blast. That's awesome.
Psychic Phase.
Did you play 40k for your birthday?
The
game, Kevin?
Incarn will do the targetable slide.
Yep.
105 goes off. So I'm going to select the unit within 18. Go for the storm.
So a gaze of Uniad on the Landspeeder Storm. 2+ to deal some mortal wounds to it.
He takes D6
Big
mortal wound.
sixer. Roll a 6 again?
Takes 3.
Yeah, that's solid. Puts it down to 4. That should be pretty trivial to pick up with fusion.
And the normal smite on him also. Goes off on a 5.
Yep.
D3. One more. So shadows here.
Now I'm interested to see Casase's target priority in
Smite
his
the Outriders.
shooting phase here.
Yep.
Obviously the Haywire
Almost
wants
six.
to go into the vehicles, but he also has
Seconds
to
fine.
deal with this Grav Cannon squad. If you ever let those Grav Cannon squads fire multiple
three.
times, you're kind of in trouble.
1. And targetable smite.
Yep.
On them, that's 6. Yeah. D3. 2 more.
It is doing.
Troop Master is going to shoot his fusion pistol
Just dropping the
into
mortal
the
wound.
Incursors. Hits on a 2. Wounds, -4.
Yeah, that roll 1.
2d6. Yeah.
Dead,
He
dead.
takes.
Definitely dead. Critical death, I think that is.
Do you remember
the
there was a Troop Master, Casase?
Yeah, here on the objective 5.
He has a Shuriken pistol.
We should have it. Should have one on the list. It's not that.
No, I just have him with the Plasma Grenades, Power Sword, Shuriken pistol, and then
That's my bad. It's another list then. Okay, thank you, Zeri. So I'm just gonna throw the grenade. Oh no, don't mind. I shoot the pistol. Nothing happened. It's my mistake. So I'm gonna shoot the Shadow Sphere into them. The Hallucinogen grenade launcher. 2+.
yeah, the list
And I
is
have to
full
roll
up, so unfortunately,
over your leadership with 2 dice or 3 dice.
it's like
I have to check.
probably no wiggle room for that fusion pistol on the Troop Master, unfortunately.
2 dice.
Leadership 8.
But I thought it was interesting that he didn't have one when I first reviewed the
Nope.
list. But yeah, he's just a Shuriken pistol guy.
Okay, so the empty Star Weaver is gonna shoot the Outriders with the Shuriken. Actually, no, he's gonna shoot the
Yeah,
Scouts?
Eric, you do have to upgrade. He's bringing him in for the Twilight Fang, so you do have to upgrade the Power Sword to the Twilight Fang, if I remember correctly. So that's why you would bring that in.
So 2 -3 and 2 normal.
I mean, I would rather have a Twilight Fang than a
Two
fusion pistol,
and-
to be honest. But oh, can you just upgrade a blade to
Okay, so
To the
first fusion. Troop Master is not the
Oh, you
unit
can
anymore.
replace a blade.
So
It's a lower
5 fusion
Power
into
Sword.
the bikes from this Star Weaver.
Interesting. Yeah, maybe a mistake on Casase's list there.
No saves, I guess.
Yeah, they're almost definitely dead, but
I'm gonna roll it because you can never know.
Yeah,
never
that's-
know. 2.
Take
and
2. 1 dead.
Kills that dude.
I think obviously if the goal is to upgrade, if is to take the Twilight Fang, there's no real reason to take a Power Sword in that
Yes.
case. But on the flip side, because we have unlocked pre-games, it could allow you to swap out of your Twilight Fang build. And then you would still
Okay,
just have a
the
Power
other
Sword.
guy is gonna shoot the fusions into the incursors.
Yep.
Oh, the Yanari one needs a Power Sword. Okay. Yeah, this is playing Soaring Sprite.
1, 2d6,
though, so we're not
3
playing
dice,
Yanari Harlequins.
1
Yanarlequins.
dead. And the 6 shots from both of the transports will go into them.
Fine.
Because we don't have any other targets.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder why it replaces a Power Sword. If
Just
the Power
4
Sword's an
normal
optional
stuff.
pick, and there's no if you're replacing it with a relic already, there's no reason to take it. But I guess this codex was built with unlocked pre-games in mind, I guess. So
Okay, so the 2-man Haviar guy is gonna shoot the Impulsor.
Yep. Neg 1 because I'm in the dense cover.
Sorry?
Neg 1 because I'm in the dense cover.
But I can draw a line where you are not
Yeah,
in
you have to draw it to every part of the model.
every
The
part.
dense cover. It's
Okay.
weird. It's the opposite of obscuring.
Okay, all good. 3 shots.
yeah, it's kind of an awkward mechanic of dense cover.
D3
If you're
mortal
touching the
wounds and
dense
1
cover, you
save.
are always going to benefit from it unless you're
Now
opponent can
what?
ignore
I'll
it.
do the strat now that he's taken a mortal.
But it
to
does
give
make
him a
sense.
5
It's
and a
basically it
painful
works
mortals.
like normal area.
So yeah,
Yeah,
one
the armor
hit.
first, 4 up. Good. And then D3 mortals.
2.
2.
Ooh, drops
5
the impulsor down to
ups.
3.
Nope. Down to 3.
Okay. The fusions from the sky over here.
Yep.
They can shoot the Outrider.
Yep.
To go through, so 2d6 big dice. First one takes 6. Second one takes 6.
Kevin,
The transport's gonna shoot the land speeder. Actually, no, the transport's gonna
Like
shoot.
that GW has upgraded the cover rules, but
Impulsor.
there's a lot of cognitive overload. Yeah, that's can certainly be the case.
-1, right?
It makes a little bit more sense once
So,
you.
of course.
Yeah, I mean,
5.
once you memorize it, it makes a little bit of sense. But
Okay.
I think
And
the
the
unfortunate
Register
part is
inside is gonna
the
shoot.
number of sort of bizarre edge cases that are not super.
They're gonna shoot the
easy to
Inceptors
parse.
to make them -2 to move and kind of fire Overwatch. So hit and 1 wound, -3 because it's a 6, and it's 1 damage, I think. Okay, so
My
I
favorite
have
one so far, I
mostly
think,
to
is
shoot.
that. I believe it's dense cover that will apply if any terrain is obscuring between.
I'm gonna shoot 2 guys into the Impulsor and 3 guys into the Rhino.
It's kind of weird.
2 into the Impulsor. 7 shot. Also hitting on 4s. 8 4s and 5. Okay, so you take 2 saves. And E3 plus 3.
D3.
So 4.
See blow up. Inside.
Hey guys, are you playing a game? Are you busy?
Yeah, we're playing.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, we are playing the game tomorrow.
we got bombed. Yeah, we'll just that's the unfortunate of playing in the stream or in the server sometimes. Because we use the server voice chats generally so that we can group multiple people together easily, but that does mean other people can join. We're just gonna server meet them for a little bit. All right, I'm turning them off. Yeah, I think I can.
All fine.
Yeah, the impulse hitbox.
I think I would need.
Yeah, it's good.
To give
You are
people
more than.
permissions
Yeah, you are.
to
We'll get there. Okay. And then that targets.
So the other three into
Pulsar is
the
dead.
rhino.
Yep.
Larry Alvar, it's easier to set the max occupancy. Oh, that's a good point. Can we do that?
Freeze.
No. Six, next one.
Yeah.
It was forced to hit, by the way. I popped smoke on the rhino.
That's a new turn.
Yeah. It lasts for the battle round.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Can you check the log? Or
All right. We remove them.
I think it was
Well
all
said,
threes
Chad.
and maybe two
I
or
appreciate
three
the
fours.
I appreciate
Two
the
fours and the rest of threes.
Yeah, yeah.
suggestions.
Okay.
If there's one thing that I'm not very good at, it's Discord. Unfortunately, I'm not
So
super
one save and
shy
one
in
more.
Discord. So sometimes some people can give me some pointers that are usually pretty helpful. So I do appreciate it.
Okay, so I guess no more shooting. Do you have any strat to heroically intervene with the unit?
Nope.
6 inches, right?
Here, intervene.
We charge the troop master into the incursors. Uh, I will try to charge the Devastators. Let's go for yeah, I need the mate. Yeah, we fight with the troop master, so you take 2 mortal wounds, so 1 guy dies, and I have 7 attacks on the next one. Twos and threes are rolling. -3.
He's dead.
Okay, so I think that's my turn. I'm engaged on all fronts. And nothing else yet.
Okay.
And back to you.
point.
You don't need more on the bikes right now. No, yeah, 3 man units. So. So I killed 4 units this turn, right? The Impulsor, the Scouts, the bikes, the Impulsor, Scouts, bikes, and... Oh, that's 3, yeah. And the Incursors, yeah, 4.
So pretty brutal round of attacking from the Harlequins here for sure.
I will advance my land speed of storm.
And we are back over to
20.
the White Scar's turn. Yeah, jumping that land speeder storm. Trying desperately to get those scouts into the Harlequin deployment zone for that display scramblers. Something tells me I feel like those scouts may die to something.
You want to go there. That's safe.
It's going to leave just a bunch of White Scar's infantry on the table for them. Obviously, that's usually good enough, but still going to suffer a little bit on the mobility, or a lot on the mobility, I should say, aspect. Now that most of the bikes are dead and most of the vehicles are dead as well. Engage on all fronts may be a little bit tough. And I think if the White Scars can push back here, the way that the Harlequins are going to pull it out is on dominance on secondaries. Since we are already 5 points up.
You're not advancing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we'll just put him up. Yeah. Something like that.
Dance cover, right? So you -2 to move.
Yeah. No, don't think so. I think that's just difficult ground.
Oh yeah, that's difficult ground. Yeah. Oh, forget that.
Looks like there's a question in chat. Zoltan Sipos, what about Thunderwolf Cavalry? They got something in the latest FAQ. They were garbage from the start of 8th edition. Yeah, they stole a bunch of rules from Wolfen, basically.
They just moved 6, right?
The sum total of it was +1 wound on the Thunderwolf Cavalry, and
oh,
they
yeah, sure.
advance in charge now.
Doesn't matter.
And their points cost is relatively reasonable. I think they're 45 points a model.
But if you advance, you cannot shoot the pistols.
So usually you're coming in like 50-ish points if you take the big punchy weapons. So a couple of people in the channel are really, really grinding with the Thunderwolf Cavalry. Not to mention that there are a couple interesting synergies inside of the Space Wolves, Index. I think
-6 and no -1 to wound.
One of the Thunderwolf Cavalry
-6 inch, and you're -2 to move. That's all.
It's either Canis Wolfborn or Herald Deathwolf. I can't remember. I think it's Canis Wolfborn gives you an additional attack with your mount attacks. I think is the buff. So you can actually sort of chain together some pretty reasonable Thunderwolf Cavalry, Death Stars kind of, by putting these the named characters together with the sort of the TWC wolf or characters, wolf lords and stuff, and run them around the table charging people. It's all pretty good.
Don't forget they are -2 to move.
Yeah. So they'll go down to base move 8. I'm just thinking about if I want to double move them or something like that.
Right.
Oh, I may as well advance.
So how are we feeling about this game so far, chat? It feels to me like it's maybe slowly be slipping away from these White Scars. I don't think they're dealing enough damage back to the Harlequin army to be able to fight back. And especially, like I mentioned before, losing a lot of their mobility options means that they're going to have a tough time scoring those secondary objectives that they took.
Well,
hopefully these remaining grav cannons, they don't do too much damage against the multi-wound, low armor save Harlequin units, but they do still punch pretty hard. And if you can start ripping these Skyweavers off the table, the Harlequin players, like, their only damage output is with fusion, so it's not hyper reliable, and you can sometimes just tank through it. Blade Guard veterans, the 4+ invulnerable save sometimes just bounce those things right off. And if you can protect those Inceptors and start blowing Harlequins off the table, you might be able to make a pushback. This feels like an aggressive move for the Inceptors, though. But I guess what we're trying to do is make it so that the engagement with the Skyweavers is very difficult. Although a lot of these Harlequins fly, the Incarn definitely in a dangerous position for this White Scars army. It might the Incarn might be going in to get blown up here. Looks like our friend Smash Captain is taking the charge from the front. He's not a scaredy Smash Captain here, or Smash Chapter Master. He's ready to go, and he's going to charge himself some Harlequins.
Rhino. 1.
Is that an advance on that Rhino? Interesting. I think I'd like to see these grav cannons committed, but I guess they would just get engaged eventually. Larry Oliver, I think I played this Harlequin player yesterday in a tournament. It's a tough list. Yeah, Kasazi was saying he was playing in a tournament. I think you guys are in the same geographic area, so I think it's very likely that you played Kasazi.
Can you use it after a transport advance?
Yeah, so it's different from the Impulsor. So the Impulsor you can't do it after advances, but for the strat you can.
Okay, we're gonna use the White Sword stratagem to disembark these guys. Very cool. Casey was saying he went 2-1, I think, in his
Like themselves get to move.
in his tournament this weekend. And Skauki also played through Harlequins earlier in the tournament. Looks like he got through Plato playing a similar list. But less, it looks like emphasis on the Skyweavers rather than the Fusion. He played through Soaring Spite, the same, so advance and shoot without penalty. Not a, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 Fusion Pistol Boats, and then a bunch of other standard Harlequin units of large troop blobs to go and punch people. So a little bit more melee oriented than the Fusion Boat spam. And looks like a close
I can't
game.
really hear you. I really low.
70 to 62. He's very sneaky with the Incarn. Can do a lot of. Yeah.
There we are. Is that any better?
Yeah, it's good.
The Incarn is definitely a finesse piece for sure.
Okay, so shooting.
Casey, I think, is a good enough player. I'll give Casey the respect.
Grab
that he'll
cannon,
use the Incarn
assault
properly.
weapons.
Some people just throw the Incarn away.
Riveting
Just throw her
amplification,
into the middle and
then they will shoot everything into
punches
the
something and
Incarn.
Okay.
Signum boosted dudes, so they're assault weapons now, so no penalty for moving.
All right,
So Signum
grab
will be
and
hitting on
the
2s
Incarn.
re-rolling.
With the grab
And then
strat.
the other shots will
No
be hitting on
penalties.
4s re-rolling.
Wow, okay. See what we can do here.
Well, not 4s, 3s re-rolling.
This could be big if we rip the Incarn off the table. Sneaky play from Skauki, getting an angle at the.
And then these are wounding
Harlequins
on
did not
T6.
expect.
Yes.
So 5s re-rolling for grav amps.
Ooh, that was gross though. Hope that grab amp can come into play. Yeah,
So
I don't
7
think that was a
at
conversion we were
minus
looking for.
4.
4 up.
Only
Takes two.
2.
D3.
I have a
I can
6 up.
re-roll it.
Yeah, I know.
2 will keep it. Other one, yeah, we'll keep it.
So
Sure.
4, 6 up.
All right. Well, we were trying to go for
Six, four.
broke here, but
Cool.
Done.
I'll use that unit's cherub and shoot them again.
drop the Harley.
Or
the,
shoot one of them
Incarn
again.
just down to 5. We're gonna see if the Signum
So
guy
the
can
Signum
finish her
hitting on
off.
2s. Wounding on 4s re-roll, or 5s re-rolling. Only
Ooh,
one.
Only one. Yeah.
I guess we'll re-roll it. For
For
2.
2 damage. So we're gonna drop that model down to 3.
It's
It
almost-
looks like. Yeah.
Cool.
Maybe not quite the damage you're expecting. Unfortunately, 5s were rolling. Pretty good odds, but you could just spike low on them.
Unit will just shoot.
That was an excellent play from
you know what, I
Skauki
think
there.
We'll shoot the other unit at that Star Weaver at the back.
I think Casey sort of
You're at
assumed the
24
Incarn
inch,
was
right?
pretty safe for
Yeah,
it, which he
24.
was,
Yeah,
but
okay, all good.
certainly not.
Signum dude, because he boosts their ballistic skill, doesn't give them +1. So hitting on 3s.
Don't
goes to
believe that we really have
Yeah,
any
hang on.
Fours anyway.
to deal more damage.
You're
So he
yeah.
goes to ballistic skill 2 up from the Signum, and then you're -1.
I'm -1 and you moved, so you still get the minus.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
you can
yeah,
-1.
but
Nice.
It changes his ballistic skill.
Yeah.
So, and then these ones are hitting on 4s. And then we're wounding on 4s.
Alright. 4 ups. Boom. So take
Oof.
4
1
wounds.
damage each.
Sounds 2.
Okay.
Oh, that was shooting into a Starweaver. Interesting. Not going into Skyweavers.
The Inceptors will shoot at these 2 Skyweavers.
The off chance that you
I'm
pull a
+1 to hit your
Starweaver
-1,
off the table is
so
pretty
you know
good,
what,
but I think
we'll
I would rather
overcharge.
have shot Skyweavers just to pull models off the
First
table.
dude,
Seems unlikely that you kill an entire
Hitting on
Star
3s,
Weaver with
rerolling.
grav cannons.
I
without
won't
rerolls.
reroll the 2s because I'd rather not kill myself if I don't have to.
Yeah.
Second dude. 3s. We won't reroll the 2. Third dude. I'll reroll the 1s though. Okay, doesn't kill himself. And the last dude. Roll the 1, doesn't kill himself, and a good number of hits. Wounding on 2s, because I'm strength 8 now. That many, you're in run 2 damage.
So I take so one guy, two damage each, right? So they died.
Each, yeah.
So let me see. You don't have anything else to shoot, right?
Nope.
And you're gonna get. I'm gonna get 3 objectives no matter what, and you're gonna get 2.
Yep.
Want to teleport. No,
All right, there goes
don't
the
want you to
Incarn
charge the.
activation.
Okay.
I guess not wanting to expose itself to the Blade Guard veteran charge. That could have been awkward.
Really wish I'd not chosen
Lose
plus
yourself
2
an objective for no
charge
reason,
now
really.
over my litany. I guess this Outrider will put some bolt guns. I'm hoping to kill the Star Weaver anyway. So yeah, he'll just fire some bolt guns at the Incarn. I don't expect it to do anything, but
You never know.
exactly. Freeze, re-rolling. And 5s. 1. -2.
One.
Yeah, it does a wound. We'll take it.
That is a hero Outrider right there. Putting the Incarn down to 3? Ugh.
Charge phase.
We're entering the
Oh,
danger zone
man.
for the poor Incarn.
It's such a unlikely thing to happen, but I feel like I'm so far behind here. Could really do with getting a kill on the Incarn.
It's an awkward charge, though.
Don't think I can deal with the
You have
Incarn.
+2 to charge, right? So
Nope.
you.
No,
Oh, no?
I failed that. Well, I didn't fail that. I picked different litany this turn. So all I've got is a 3D. I've got a strap for a 3d6 charge.
You need an 11.
I can reroll it from his Warlord trait.
Yeah, so
Well,
the Fierce
that's
Rivalry
5
is
points from
probably
me.
going to,
But
You're right, it is. It's dead Yinkarn, and then I have that objective as well.
to come back. Yeah, it's a big swing if you
And
get
then
that
get to
off, but
objective
man, is it
1.
unlikely. But I think Skauki's
Yeah,
analysis
you're
is
not
right. He is very far behind right now. Making
gonna
this play with the
do-
Chapter Master to charge the Incarn.
Yeah, the ballsy move. I'm going to give myself a 3d6 charge on him because it's
think
the
is the
first
right play.
charge. Big numbers. Nope. We're going to re-roll it. Here's Warlord trait. Nope.
Ooh,
Not enough.
yeah, that's not going to do it.
Sad times. But oh well. Okay, then we will do the Chaplain. We'll go in for Starweaver.
Yeah, unfortunately, for
gosh,
Skauki there, I'm
we'll
just
go
double checking the
into the
stratagem. It
Starweaver.
does, that would still have failed with his +2, if it makes him feel any better. Because you do, the Fierce Rivalries does discard
The
the lowest
Inceptors will
result,
go into
so
the
that would have only
Starweaver.
been a 10. He needed an 11 or 12, I think.
7.
That would have been a big swing, though, if he was able to kill the Incarn this turn. Like he mentioned, it grabs an objective, it puts the model way far up the table, and not really in threat range of much stuff. I believe his Troop Master is pretty far away right now.
Hold that as well.
And that would put him to parity on objectives, whereas right now Casasi's in place to score 15 points on primary. So that would have been like a 10, potentially 15-point swing.
Judicar would need to roll big numbers. 7 is not big enough numbers.
And that's unfortunately going to put the captain out of the picture for attacking the Skyweaver. Not that I think he really needs it, but
well, because he can.
It would be nice to have that Teeth of Terra go off. What Skouki has to do right now is make sure that there's no opportunity for a cheeky Skyweaver to jump in and blow up that Smash Captain, because I do think that is a model. That's a piece that Skouki needs for the late game in this matchup. He just has so many attacks. He's able to pick up Harlequins squads, pick up Skyweavers, pick up Starweavers. He's just lethal to everything in this matchup, but it's only one model. He's but one man, so a couple fusion blasters will put him down pretty
on
quickly.
4s normally,
If
plus 1
Casasi
for
gets
Khans
the
for 3s.
opportunity.
Re-rolling for the Chaplain. 13 wins.
I think
it might be dead.
So let's see if it explodes. No. Let's see if I can place any of the guys.
It's a massive roll right there. Looks like we may
Any parts from the model?
can't emergency disembark. What are we doing here? So we may be in a position where most of the squad is going to die, or maybe all of them. Can you fit one model here? That looks a little dicey. Yeah, I don't know if we can squeeze them in. It's like playing Operation here, chat. We're gonna do some heart surgery on this Harlequin unit to see if we can fit it into this Space Marine army.
All right. So I can place one guy. All good.
One model gets out of the transport alive.
So I
Does
have
he
to
die?
roll dice. Ah, he's dead.
Nope, he's dead.
And
Oh, there you
just
go.
give it to him before the
You need
remove
that chapter
the
master there.
sorry
That
where
was
I can
the entire rest of the army
Incarn
basically
because you have
repositioned
the
to
one
actually
charger.
consolidate.
You cannot attack him because you didn't charge him.
Yep.
Chapter Master has a Thunder Hammer, Storm Shield, right?
Yeah, he does.
So I have 3 now, and I will hold more.
Alright, so Casasi's just moving in, I think, to knock out the Chaplain. Yeah, unfortunate that this Judiciary didn't get more centrally located. I think Skouki's Judiciary placement has been a little unfortunate this game, because that guy has not been able to project his Tempora Mortis or as far as he needs to. So it looks like this Incarn may be able to scalpel one of these units out. I think that was possible regardless of whether or not the Incarn teleports, but
Okay, so you basically killed 1, 2, 3, 4 units, and I killed 4, so you're not going to get
Zixarius isn't teleporting the Incarn costing 15
random
primary.
down.
No, Casasi still holds 3 objectives. 1,
My turn?
2, 3. Versus the Swicecar's 2,
So I
so
got
he's going to
15.
score 15 regardless of whether the Incarn was there. The swing would have been because the captain, if the captain made that charge into the Incarn, he would hold this objective. So that would have put them 3-3 on objectives. And that would have cost Casasi the 5 for holding more. In addition, it would have cost him a while we stand, and it would have cost him potentially another turn of holding if the captain stayed around for a turn. Yeah, he has a death jester hiding in amongst these flames right here. Yeah, He's easy to miss with his cloak.
Like to advance the death gesture.
Yep.
Looks like we're moving troops off of Objective 1.
Rolling 14.
This is a turn. We have to bring in that last Skyweaver. Okay, the Death Jester's just going to move back to 1. The Death Jester is a little bit more
Have to bring in the transport this turn.
in danger because he's only one model. So it will be easier to kill than a full unit of troops. So it makes sense for him to be at the more defensive objective behind the line of sight blocker. But that was a relatively big swing for Skowkie. He was able to kill 3 units that turn. Unfortunately, didn't quite get him the grind them down. Really, we're seeing the downside of grind them down here, which is just the amount of control your opponent gets over the.
So for the guys inside the transports, they can shoot from any part of the model. So from this point, the captain is the closest.
When you measure from models, you measure from their base. So any part.
I measure the transport. I measure from the base, but the guys inside can measure from any point of the vehicle.
No, they measure from any part of the model, and when you measure from a part of a model that has a base, you measure from the base. So
No, it's basically stays in the Harlequin codex.
Yeah, the Skyweaver rule says you measure from any part of the model, right?
I'm checking. Models embarked on this can measure from any part of the vehicle. Measure the range and draw line of sight from any point of this model. When they do so, any restrictions or modifiers are applied to this model applies to passengers. So I can shoot from the edge of the transport.
Yeah, so the definition of your model changed between editions. Now, anytime you measure to and from a part of a model that has a base, only the base is considered for measurement. So,
okay.
So when you're measuring range from it, you just measure from the.
So they cannot do the chicketing anymore.
Yeah, they can't shoot from the tip of the gun. Yeah, they have to measure.
Okay.
They measure from the same parts of the vehicle.
Move here, so the judiciary is the closest.
Yep. That was a change between the editions. It's a little awkward for everybody in chat, but that's due to the core rule change that defined measurement. Because now it says when you measure to or from a model, you use its base. And so any rule that says when you measure from any part of a model, you are still measuring to or from that model, so you're going to use its base. If it didn't have a base or it had a grav tank rule, then it would measure from its all, but it does still have a base. But that nipped a lot of that sort of pseudo exploitative stuff in the bud, where you could the old interpretation of the rules, the Skyweavers could shoot the range of the fusion pistols was longer than the range of the vehicle's weapons because they got an extra inch or two off the nose of the gun of the model.
The Rhino is empty, right?
Yeah, it's empty now. It's got nothing.
Yeah, it's an interesting. Yeah, it's something that not a lot of the Harlequin players are aware of. But yeah, it was a core rulebook change. It's a good one to keep in mind, and it really cleans up a lot of interactions in the game. Thank goodness. One of the changes in 9th edition I was very appreciative of.
Do you reroll wounds in combat? Yeah. Rear lip. Yes.
Larry Oliver, so for vehicles with a base like that, does the model matter for anything except for line of sight? No. No. All the model's ignored for measurement purposes, except for going off the table. Going off the table, you still measure the model itself for some reason, but otherwise, you only use the base.
Shadows here.
Yeah, as far as I know, that includes disembarking. Yeah, disembark is just within 3 inches of the transport vehicle, so you measure to whatever portion of the model the core rules say you measure to, and for those models that's the base itself, because they don't have a grav tank.
So, Travi, how is the strategic reserves? I can come in on any board edge apart from the opponent board edge, right?
Yeah. On turn 3, I think that is how it works.
And I have to be 9 inches away from the any units. Right?
Yes. Yeah, unless you come in within 1 inch of your own board edge. But I don't know if you're going to do that.
Might not. Psychic phase. Incorn will cast targetable smite.
Yep.
Goes off on the land speeder. Actually, I will put it on the captain.
Just Larry Alvarez, that's true for Ravagers and Falcons. Ravagers and Falcons, I believe, have a grav tank rule.
XD3. X2.
Which says that you measure to either the model or the base.
The normal smite.
It's just like 8th edition. It
Or the
didn't
chapel.
really change that much between 8th and
Second
9th.
smite.
8th edition had the same rule, basically, where that if a model had a base, you'd use the base, unless they had a rule that says otherwise. The difference is that it's what your model has been codified. Where basically, if you have a model for measurement purposes, that the only thing that matters for that model is the base. It's under the measuring distances section in the core rules. If you measure to a hull, it just means any part of the model. Star Weavers do not have a grav tank rule. So Ravagers, for example, have the hovering rule, which says that instead of measuring distance and ranges to and from the model's base, you measure from its hull or base, whichever is closer. And I believe that Falcons have the same thing, but Star Weavers do not have that rule. Because their base is large enough to encompass most of their volume, so they don't need it. Yeah, Falcons have hover tank, which is distances are always measured to and from the model's hull, even though it has a base. So if Star Weavers had a rule that said you measure to and from the model or the base, whichever is closer, when measuring for a gunshot or whatever, measure from any part of the model, then you'd be fine. But because it says that you measure to and from any part of the model, and the model has a base, then you measure to and from the base.
Vehicle itself is going to shoot the juice here.
Basically, I mean, it's stated in the core rules, but basically you only ever use a model itself for measurement, full stop, unless if it does not have a base or it has a rule that says you don't use its base specifically.
So the fusions. We go on. Khan has an M1?
Yeah, he's got 4 up in one.
Yeah, I cannot shoot him because you are within 3 of the vehicle. Yeah, doesn't matter. I will shoot this
So
one
the Judiciar's
first.
dead. That's a big swing.
Fusion into the
one of the
Blade
most
Guard.
dangerous models in this, on the table for the Harlequins, obviously. But unfortunately, wasn't quite able to get its Tempora Mortal Sword active, really, this game. And Kasezi's not going to have to worry about it anymore. Still 4 fusion boats worth of Harlequins on the table for Kasezi.
Oh, yeah. So,
4 convince. 1 goes through.
2d6. So 1 dead.
I think he's dead.
You should take this one, yeah.
Yeah.
So the other guy within 6, but not in melt range.
Not in Melter.
Yeah,
So-
we shoot him into the Blade Guard.
Yep. Three, 4-ups. 1 goes through. Kills him.
Blows up another Blade Guard veteran.
And
His new Storm
other
Shield's not quite
transports,
keeping him alive.
small guns will go into the Devastators.
Yep.
-1. 4 fours. 1 threes. 2 normal save.
1 dies. Goodbye, Mr. Actually, do I even need the Sergeant? Not really. I mean, yes, I do want him, not Grav Cannon.
Alright, and Kasezi working on the Grav Cannon.
Sorry, we're
Devastators
going to
now,
shoot the
too.
Blade Guard.
It's really going to
Why
pull the
not?
punch out of this Space Marine army. The
6
captain
shots.
is still alive, who's relatively threatening, and obviously these Inceptors are still going, but this is a rapidly shrinking Space Marine army.
2 normal and 1 AP3.
Blue Fire,
Good,
yeah, I can
and
turn down
then
Kasezi. His mic is a little louder.
Takes whipped.
Larry Oliver, yeah. So that's the rule in question, Larry. The open topped rule, where you say measure
So the
from
Haywire bites,
any part of the model, but because the model has a base, you measure from the
I'm
base.
going to shoot the Shadow Sphere into the Rhino.
Basically, measuring from any part of the model means you measure from any part of the base.
To hit.
If it said that you measure from the
3d6
vehicle's
on
hull
the
or the
leadership.
model's hull, then
Leadership eight.
that would override it because hull is a
Nothing.
defined term in the rulebook. But measuring from a model just means measure from its base. In the new rulebook, it's an issue of a translation error. I'm sure once we get an
gonna put-
updated index or a codex for Harlequins, it'll get updated. But
2 bikes into the
and the intention will be made clear.
Blade Guard. 1 man. And 3 guys into the Land Speeder Storm.
See. Remember that the are obscure.
So I'm looking to.
Yep.
So 7 shots on the Blade Guard.
Oh, don't throw that guy in
Minus
there.
1 dead first. And 4s. 2 -1.
Yeah. Take 1. 1 down.
3d6 on the Storm.
Ooh. So these are haywire cannons going into the land speeder storm.
Will be neg 1
roll
because
5.
you're going through the dense terrain.
Nothing.
Wow. There's a flub. I expected this land speeder storm to be dead last turn.
Okay, so
I guess not.
I guess that's all for shooting. Charges. We charge our Weaver into the Blade Guard.
This feels a little aggressive. I think there's a non-zero chance that this Wayguard veteran just cuts the Star Weaver in half.
The other Star Weaver into the Blade Guard.
Yep.
Alright, we're sending another one in. That makes sense. See if we can get that one wound through on that guy and finish the squad off.
And the Skyweavers into the Rhino. So. You can heroic 6 inches for 1 CP?
No 6 inch. Just 3.
Oh, just 3, so normal. Yeah.
People, no blood angel.
I guess no more charges.
Oh,
Wait a
I'm
second.
assuming your plan is to be outside of 3.
Yeah, that's what I
fine.
wanted to check.
That's fine. That's fine.
So you have no CP to interrupt?
Nope.
We go with the 2 transports on the blade guard. Let's see
Yep.
if we can hammer him. Freeze. And it's round 5, so freeze. What's it?
You better do this, blade guard. Okay, he's good.
What a boss. Good job, Blade Guard veteran. Let's see you kill a Starweaver.
Going to objective, why not?
I'm feeling here that the
Okay, so the bikes.
Starweaver, he's going to kill the Starweaver. The Starweaver's going to explode and kill him too.
3.
So it looks like we may be, Kasezi may be aiming to engage as many of these guns as possible. He can get in and touch those Inceptors, probably not take too much damage
Okay,
on
so
the swing
4
back.
guys into the Rhino.
I don't believe any of these models are wounded. Should be fine against an Inceptor squad. Not on the charge.
5.
And that takes a lot of the plasma shooting out of the
Nice,
Space
dude.
Marine army. This turn sort of looks like a
them.
knockout punch for the Harlequins. Even if the Space Marines are able to clear everything on the side of the table that the Harlequins have, Kasezi's going to have such a dominating lead on primary objectives and be able to grab a lot of secondary objectives. I'm not sure. I think we're running out of time for the Space Wolves, or the White Scars, not the Space Wolves.
I think it's
The White
you're
Scars
fighting back.
to fight back in. But we'll see how Squawky can do it. He still has potentially 15 points he can deny Kasezi.
Like,
He could potentially be shooting for 8 or so on engage
freeze.
and some deploy scramblers points. So if he's able to punch through this whole, the stuff on his objective right now and then kind of explode out from there, he may have a chance to get back in this game. But it looks a little unlikely at this stage.
Does it explode? Yes.
Oh, it
Yes,
did
I
explode!
Oh, damn it.
Amazing, chat.
So Starweaver takes 1. Everybody within 6 takes 1.
Okay, he's fine.
That's so
Basically
good.
just the Inceptors.
And I'm gonna put the 5 troops out on the objective.
You adorable little Starweaver.
And 5 guys to roll to die or not. 1. Okay, so hit me back with the Scepters and the Rhino. I have a phone call, just 1 second.
Alright, sounds like Kasezi has to step away for a sec.
They are within 6 of the chaplains, so they'll be rerolling wounds as well. Pause. Rerolling. You'd be 5 wounds on the Skyweavers.
I'm back, sorry.
Okay, cool. 5 wounds on the Skyweavers.
3 up. Ooh, damage 1.
I'll take it. Yeah, just 1 because I did not charge.
So this guy died and this one takes 2.
Oh, big scary D3 plus 1 attack Rhino is going to get you. He gets 2 attacks. He's hitting on 6s. Not re-rolling. Cool, good fight.
I get engage.
Yep.
And you get no points because I'm upset.
Okay. Well, this game is not looking good for me at this point, but we'll see what we can do.
Get to see.
Yeah, I'll do. Okay.
So, unfortunately, for the White Scars here, the destruction of that Star Weaver put objective secured units on Objective 4, so that actually does block them from scoring primaries. So, looks like curtains, I think. We may be angling for a fallback charge from the Inceptors here. See if we have room. This actually looks a little tight. I think you have to shuffle over this guy's base, maybe. But maybe we're going to be trying to knock out the Shadow Seer. Looks like the Shadow Seer is down to 2. So a charge from the Inceptors could do it.
Yeah, flip the nudge.
But that's where the Troop Master's hiding, so look out. Look out, boys. Chapter Master's already been dinged up. Yeah, this is getting a little awkward. I mean, fortunately, we're in Assault Doctrine. We're +1 damage on all these guys. We got all of the buffs in play right now. Like, this is the most dangerous White Scars will ever be. And so they're gonna absolutely obliterate everything in this corner of the table. Unfortunately, that is a sacrifice the Harlequins are willing to make. James Reckel, engage with 2 or 3 points. Does he have anything on Objective 2? Who's that in reference to? There was nothing on Objective 2 earlier.
You know, lightning distance.
The Incarn was standing there and then bounced its way across the table.
The fallback and shoot is 2 CP or 1?
1.
I'm gonna scramble in my deployment zone again.
Some point. My.
You are really low again. I can hear you.
to being good now.
Okay.
Cool. I guess the grab dev can't. Rather have their should have taken the shooting. Oh well.
James Dreckle, yeah, that is a good point. We'll see. Yeah, so he had scored 3 the previous turn and then 2 the other 2 turns. Yeah, so he's probably 1 up on engage. Casey, did you have anything in this table quarter last turn?
Oh no, yeah, you're right. Sorry, -1.
Good call, chat.
Thanks.
Yeah, he had moved his.
Right.
He had a Harlequin troop over here, but he advanced them over to objective 3, and this guy didn't quite get back into that same quarter. So I think
I thought I still have the troops there, but I ran them away.
Okay, shooting. I'll start with Khan's ability to ping something from mortal wound on a 4-up. I'll try and ping that troop from mortal wound on a 4-up. I take 1 mortal.
Yeah. And Zook.
Then I'll do
Pew.
this Blade Guard unit. The sergeant will throw a frag grenade. The other 2 will just shoot their pistols at them. A frag grenade gets 6 shots. 3s, re-rolling 1s. And 4s. 2 wounds. Get 1. And then the pistols. Re-rolling 1s. 2 hits. 3s. 2 wounds. Get 1 more. The biker will shoot his bolt guns. My scout's going to do scramblers. Bolt gun, 4 hits, 4 wounds.
Okay,
We get that
so give me a second to redeploy the Incar.
Sending the Incarn in feels aggressive. We're gonna try to make that charge hard for the chapter master. I think you can kill the Incarn with something else, though. These are the super souped up hyper death white scars, so Incarn might be in trouble still.
So you cannot shoot him because we have a vehicle within
Yeah,
tree.
that's fine. Yep.
So it's a bit close, but
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'll move them outside of 1 because I'm assuming you
Yeah,
mean
okay.
the charge on the Incarn, right?
Yep.
That's fine.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. That has changed things a bit, but I'll spend CP to fall back and shoot with the interceptors. And then they will shoot. They'll just shoot the Star Weaver.
Sure.
What's that stratagem called? The fall back and shoot?
Let me get the name of it. Fainting withdrawal. It's at the bottom left corner of the last page of strats.
You have to use it when you select unit or when you fall back.
I should have done it when it fell back, yeah.
Ah, it's alright. I'm not going to call it. You cannot do it, so just to know. All good.
I was going to do it anyway and shoot the incarn, but obviously you've changed that a
I
bit.
know you wanted to fall back and shoot, so it would be a dick move to do not allow you.
Right. And then they will shoot the Star Weaver. They're not going to overcharge because I prefer not to kill my own models. So, 83 shots. Not bad, we'll take it. Hitting on 4s, re-rolling. Wounding on 3s. 7 wounds. Take straight.
Okay, down to 3.
Cool.
2, sorry. What are you 5? From the explosion.
I believe there's still a Harlequin squad in there, so I guess we're just trying to get it out and get charges on everything. There's no interrupt CP here, like non-zero chance of like this
Okay, I
outrider
think that
sergeant
brings
just blows
us
the incarn
on
off the
to
table
charges.
with his chainsword though.
Blade guard can. Oh, they shoot the others.
Yeah, they did, yeah. My chapter master will go into your troop master.
I am
Sure.
legitimately excited for this fight phase though. I'm excited to see White Scars do
I've got +2 for my litany.
the full White Scars
12 effectively,
treatment all
so
over
it's
this
definitely
table and hit.
You scrambled with the scouts, right?
Damage.
In my
Yeah.
department.
Then we'll have the Inceptors charge your Shadow Seer.
Okay.
+2, they go 8, no 9. Then my Chaplain will charge both the Yinkan and the Starweaver. Got +2, so he'll go 11. I think we'll send him around here. My Outrider will charge the Yinkan.
Travi, do you know? I still get the always fights first from the strength from death if somebody dies with the incarn, right?
That's a good question.
I was going to say, if so, my Chaplain probably doesn't fancy that charge, but
Yeah, that's why I wanted to before you finish it to.
that's fine. Thank you.
Well, you can fight first with the chaplain because.
Oh, right, yeah, 'cause-
If I have always fight first, I go after the first attack.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I'll change the Chaplain if it. I probably won't change the Chaplain actually, because if I get to fight first, that's fine. So I'll move on to the Blade Guard vets.
So I believe you have to be in a Yanari detachment to get Strength from Death.
Okay.
And so the Incarn, you can choose whether your detachment is Yanari or Harlequins, but you lose your mask trait if you're Harlequins. Or if,
Okay.
if you pick it for Yanari, so.
Yeah, sure.
My Blade Guard will charge the Starweaver and the Skyweavers with +2. They go 13, so they're definitely in. These Grav Cannons will charge Skyweavers.
Chances it's on the data sheet.
Khan goes into, I guess.
Yep. Give everyone that +1 to wound where he can. I guess the Rhino can. I'll just get some movement. Get 8. Okay. You've got no CP to interrupt, right?
No.
So we can just start. Okay, so what
Actually,
I'll do.
So sorry, just scratch that. The you gain the strength from death ability if you don't already have it and you're in an AR detachment, but the Incarn just has it on their data sheet. Chat,
Yeah,
cool.
so after the first charging unit, I can fight because there's a unit died.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool.
So you should go with the chaplain.
Yeah, in that case, I still need to do the Inceptors, their crushing charge. On a 6, you take a mortal wound from those two. No,
Alright, cheers, chat.
still hasn't done anything. That's
Good
cool.
looking out.
It will do something one day.
The Unari
Okay, so I
rolls
will start with
always
Chaplain.
take me like
Big
15
surprise.
minutes to look up every time I have to do it.
He
because
has 4
they're very
attacks.
confusing. But I appreciate the
Hitting on 2s, re-rolling. Strength 6.
Strength 5 is
Strength
the
5, isn't it? Yeah, he's not updated yet. So 5s with +1 from Khan goes to 4s, re-rolling for his own litany.
No, this is so,
4 wounds.
so brutal.
Okay,
Get
3 damage each. I
out
think
of
he
here,
dies.
Incarn.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Well, there you go. I guess it didn't matter, chat. The Incarn just got bossed by this
And then he'll
chaplain.
consolidate. I guess we'll do Khan into the Skyweavers. So
That was
he will
sick.
have 6 attacks. Does he really care about reroll wounds? No, not really. It's too late now. But 2s rerolling. Strength 6, so wounding on 2s. 5 wounds. You're in the run.
Yeah.
I'll
Sorry?
take it.
Oh my god.
D3 +1.
So the one dies, and the next one?
It's so sick.
Does 3, and then that last one will kill another one. Okay.
The D3 +1 would have been 2 there, right?
Yeah, I meant 2. So it should be kill
One
the
guy
first
and one
bike.
wound.
It should be 2 bikers dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that probably works out better for me, really.
+1 damage, y'all. That's so sick.
And then Khan will consolidate. Next, I'll do the Devastators.
At the very least, chat, I'm excited to see White Scars do the White Scars thing. Where they're like random infantry start like basically swinging with power
So I'll
fists.
get 3 in. So it'll be 4 for the Sergeant, 2 for the other 2, so 8 attacks. Hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s. Wounding on 4s normally goes to 3s with Khan. I am within 6 of the Chaplain, so rerolling. I think those were 1s, so 4 wounds. 2 damage each.
Get stuffed. Oh man. Just rips those
Three, right?
guys off.
So
Yeah.
1,
Oh
2,
my
3, yeah, they died.
Well, this comeback swing is pretty cool, chat. Unfortunately, I think this Starweaver has models in it, so if the Blade
Next
Guard
I'll do
kill
this
it,
Outrider Sergeant. Actually,
they,
no, first I'll do their Consolidate.
He didn't charge the Star River, so...
Yeah, he can still pile in. He can't attack it.
Yeah, I know.
Then they'll Consolidate.
oh man. We're trying to force the Harlequins off of this objective. I love this play from Skauki. we can make it really difficult to do this pile out. There's no emergency
Next, I'll do the
disembarkation, so
Chapter
if we can
Master
block
into
this
the
area,
Troop Master. So he
between
will
this
have
guy,
9 plus D3
the
attacks to
chaplains
charge.
here, you're only going to get a couple
12.
Harlequins out, and they're not going to be on objective 4.
Hitting on
That's a good
2s,
heads-up play from
rerolling
Scout.
1s.
-1 to wounds, so
3s. Wait, it's 3s?
He's strength?
Yeah, 3s. Strength 6. Because he gets +1 from the Imperium Sword. So that many.
Oh, and that wasn't as cool as that was.
They are
That
3
was
damage
cool,
each.
though. Bye!
I think he's dead.
goodbye.
Oh, man.
Okay. Then I will do...
That's sick.
Oh, you know what? I've forgotten. I've got 6-inch consolidates. Oops.
Oh,
Okay,
from his
we'll do the
Canticle of Fate.
incentives.
Oh, no.
So that'll be
That's a big mistake, actually. That could have given him the ability to block
13
off the
attacks.
disembark off this Starweaver. Ooh.
3s. Okay, rolling 1s. 3s goes to 4s.
Chad, it's so
5
it's so
wounds.
rare we see the
It's on the Shadow Sword.
White Scar's
Yep.
super doctrine to get
damage
active,
each.
but oh my god, is it impressive. Jeez. This army just pulled like 1,000 points of Harlequins off the table in one fight phase. with like some random scraps it has left alive. two Skyweavers went down to 3 Devastators. The big question is whether it's too little too late. Don't forget the 6-inch
that.
pile and consolidate now.
Like,
Are we gonna forget that? I think we are. Oh, that's too bad. Because we could have potentially seen this guy go here, right, with a 6-inch, and then a 6-inch here to get closer. And then he
Freeze.
could have blocked off that entire
Here's like
disembark
ones.
and killed another player unit. And that actually, like, I don't want to say it's
Force
a
normally
comeback,
goes to 3s plus
but
1, rerolling.
man, is that a ton of damage into
That
the
many.
Harlequin army. Unfortunately, I think the deficit on primaries is still
3 damage each if
too
it's dead.
big.
Oops. No.
But that was an impressive show right there. I also wonder if I guess we have enough stuff in this Harlequin army to jump a unit out over here and grab Deploy Scramblers. So I think we still have Deploy Scramblers open for the Harlequins. But there is the potential that if the players actually have to put in enough work that they don't get that, and that's actually a big 10-point swing that Skalki could pick up.
I guess. Is my turn. And finally, I get some points.
Is there
I
engagement?
get
Yes, because of the Chapter Master. Ooh.
And the city.
Finally scored 2 points on engage. Finally scored grind. All right, well the points aren't looking too far apart anymore. But if Skalki can pull 2 15-point primaries out, which looks non-viable, so probably if he can pull a 10 and a 15 out, I think is the best possible result. That would be 25, and if he can block off the Harlequins from scoring their last primary, which also seems unlikely. Harlequins probably score 10 on their last primary, so they'll probably max their primaries for 45. If we can score 25 more for Skalki, he's down 10 still. But the real question will be whether he can block Deploy Scramblers, which is a possibility since I think the Harlequins have only placed one in their deployment zone.
I'm gonna deploy. So I have to be within more than 6-inch away from the other. No, I have to be just in your deployment zone, right?
Yep, just for that scrambler, just within the deployment zone.
Alright, Scrambler 2 going down.
Pick up and make these works.
But that
So
also
these
means
guys
that
gonna scramble in the
Casey's
ocean.
only 5 points up on Wowie Stand as well. He lost 2 of his Wowie Stand targets in that last fight phase, I think. So that's 10 points that he's never getting back. Casey's definitely still in the driver's seat of this game, but man, did that fight phase make it way more interesting. Unfortunately, we're down to we're burnt on CP for both players. No defensive stratagems coming out. We have the potential to just see this Harlequin player troop blast the Chapter Master off the table, which is unfortunate. I wonder if there was the opportunity for him to consolidate this way.
Move these
And get
players
within
off
3
and
inches
go
of
back
this
into
model
this
so
transfer.
that they would
Yep.
block him from these guys. But looking at it now, I don't know if I can tell. Killing that Chapter Master would be a pretty big deal.
Shooting fusions will go into the interceptor.
Fusions into the Inceptors. I guess we're going to try to charge the Chapter Master? That seems scary. Maybe don't do that. Ooh.
Two.
T5.
Ooh,
Yeah,
only
I'm thinking
2
about
go
rerolling.
through. Spin the CP to reroll a wound roll. That's not where you want to be. That's not a position in the game where you want to be spending your CP to get individual wounds through on bottles. Ooh.
Let's spend one CP.
We're doing it. Goes through.
No saves.
Should pick 3 up.
I think that there was a dude on 1 wound, by the way. So
one dies,
Yeah.
and then 2 more. Takes 3.
dies, and
Oh, leaves one
60.
alive on 1. Heartbreaker. I think that's okay, though. Maybe going for a charge onto the Chapter Master.
But that Jester is going to
3
shoot the
wounds on the
scouts.
Chapter Master and only swinging with strength 3 Harlequin blades. Yeah, I don't know.
Hits. Wounds -3. So 1 dies and you take the 3 mortal wounds. 1 mortal wound. I think that's all for me. Get engaged on all fronts. And up to you. So you get 5 points. 10. Yeah, 10.
James Coaster hashtag nerf Harleys.
we were right
I don't know. That was.
saw you put the troop on the objective. I was like, oh.
Yep.
5-point turn. Here we come. I
That
should
was
have done my
not the
litanies
end of
again,
the-
so we'll do +2 to charges. Yep, and reroll wounds.
Yeah, we have to make through a 20-point deficit for Skowki this game. That's so rough. Even if he scores grind, I mean, he will probably score grind, and I mean, he needs to basically shoot all of the Harlequins to death and then score a 15-point turn. But that seems very difficult to do.
Cool.
I mean, that is very difficult to do. That doesn't even just seem it. That's close to impossible. We're gonna go for it though. See if we can knock off a.
Their leadership 7s, right? So they can fail? On their leadership.
Oh no, Sergeant's got 8, I think.
Yeah, good. You're -2 leadership because of the registers. So one guy runs.
Reroll it. I'm a Space Marine.
Oh, yes, Space Marine. So still, yeah, one guy runs.
We got 8, 2 -2 is 4. Yeah.
Good.
All right, chat. How are we feeling about the outcome of this game? Do we think Skowki can pull it out? We called it a little early for Kasazi. Skowki, once those White Scars get to Assault Doctrine, like everything opens up for them. The points deficit is pretty tough to get through, but there's a gambler's chance here, I think, for our White Scar friends. I'm going to go to an isometric view here so we can see the stuff inside the ruins a little bit better. Yeah, the issue is something I talked about at the beginning of the game. Like a lot of these secondaries, as soon as you lose them, there's no chance of getting them back because you have to score them every turn to max them. Skauki's he's gonna score his last scrambler this turn. There's no way he doesn't do that with his Blade Guard veterans or his Devastators. I think it looks like he can knock down the Harlequins to a 5-point primary turn. And potentially
well, another 4.
Make it them unable to max their their scramblers. So 5-point primary turn would put the Harlequins. They'll get 5 for while we stand probably. Yeah, they'll get 5 for while we stand, I think. So that will be 5, 10. So they'd be at 67, and then probably 2 more for engaged on the front. 69.
Oh.
Hey, 69 points.
And don't forget your scramble, the last one.
Yeah.
We could. We'll get 10 for Skauki on Scrambler, so he'll be at 47. And then could score 6 more for grind them down and engage. So that would be 53 to 69. So he would have to. He would need to then score a 10-point turn and max an engage or grind them down on the last turn, and then he would win by 1 point. Is what the math in my head says. Oh my god, Chad. If we see an upset here, I'm going to blow my lid. Because what we can do here, right, is that the captain can kill the Skyweaver, blow it up. He's got 1 CP. Can he strike off the head, or is that 2 CP? I think it's 2. That would not be good. Because what he wants to do with the captain, right, is get him into a position with a charge plus a consolidate, where wherever the players go, he can consolidate into them and engage them, because then they cannot move to drop the last scrambler. These guys, I think the last scrambler that we have yet to deploy is the middle one. These guys, I think, are too close to the deployment zone to be able to drop it, since you have to be 6 inches outside of both players' deployment zones. So they'd have to get to there with a standard move, which they can't do. They're only move 8, I think. Yeah. So if you oh no, this is empty. Oh. Oh boy. Are we just?
Blade Guard will scramble.
Is just this rip for the?
So you've done all 3, right?
Yeah. On will ping a mortal on the players on the 4-up. Actually, no, we won't do that yet. We'll do that later. First, we'll do the Grav Devs.
Characters can't perform it.
I think we'll just make the action. Sergeant.
I don't think that we can score deploy scramblers for the Harlequins.
You're rolling
Oh
ones.
my god. Oh no.
Winding on 3s.
That's brutal.
5 wins. 3 die. And then the bolt gun on the sergeant. 3s. And 3s. 1 wound. Just 1 more. We'll ping them for a mortal on a 4-up. They take a mortal.
So that pulls those players out.
We'll do this land speed of storm. We'll shoot everything at the Death Jester. The heavy bolter. 3s. And 3s. 1 wound. Good. And the Cerberus launcher. 5 shots. 3s. And 3s. 2 wounds.
6
Take
1.
Cool. Okay, charges. My chapter master will charge the Star Weaver.
I feel like I'm missing a player troop on this table somewhere. Did they all die?
Then
Wasn't there was one on this objective? Oh, I don't know where they are. Did they get into this Skyweaver? Starweaver? Oh, okay. I think that's Casasi's plan. He embarked in this one, I think, so that he could jump them out next turn to deploy his last scrambler. Okay. Never mind, chat. I think the
They are in the
Harlequins
transport.
are the Harlequins are live
Sorry?
for the last scrambler here.
Oh no, I'm just thinking about whether I even need to charge these.
I can heroically intervene because I'm character, so
That's very true, actually.
you might.
So, I might as well. Yes. In once. Argent. You guys.
In hindsight, I wonder if Skauki's regretting like an assassinate pick in this matchup.
The other two.
Although a lot of times it's a trap
Freeze.
against Harlequins. In this game, it just ended up not being. Ooh, that was a
Freeze.
bomb roll there.
Um,
Oh no!
You know what? I'm gonna CP reroll one of these.
Oh, we're
as
gonna
well.
see.
It's on the register.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Oh,
CP reroll one of
man.
them. For
All
3
right,
wins.
wounds. We just need 2 of these through because they are 2 damage. Because in the assault doctrine,
Makes
looks
sense.
like we get them.
2 damage each.
Oh man. Oh,
Okay.
that assault doctrine.
My chapter
doing
master into the Star Weaver.
frickin'
He has
work.
got 9 plus D3.
Loft of the
10.
universe. Eldar all day. They are in the lead right now, but man, are the White Scars pushing back. Holy
Rerolling
crap.
ones. Or rerolling everything, I guess, but. And 3s. That many.
Ugh,
3 damage
that
each.
rips the Star Weaver off the table too.
Does it explode? Nope.
Almost blew up. Would have been funny. So
Turn.
that does exactly what Skauki needed to do. We deny the Harlequins their primary on the final battle round. It looks like. Oh my
Might you?
gosh.
Yep.
He got attrition. He got grind, or engage. Excuse me. He got grind. 0 primary points, and we are only down 6 points for the White
This
Scars
is a
now.
clo-
I
a
think
closer
we
game
are
than
gonna
I thought
grab
it was going to be.
the 10 points for
Sorry?
scramblers.
I was saying I managed to get to a closer game than I thought it would be, so I'm happy with that.
So that'll put him at 55, it looks like. And if he can, he should be around, or 65, excuse me, should be around 70 for the
reroll
Harlequins
wins
if they're
the
able
chaplain.
to,
Yes, and plus 2 to charge.
if they're able to keep their
reroll
while we
them.
stand alive.
Yes.
I actually think the White Scars might have done this because they're going to immediately score 15 on primary the final turn, pushing them to 66. Then all they need to do is kill enough to score attrition and the max from engage at all fronts, and they win by 1 point or 2 points. Oh my goodness, chat.
I'm assuming rambling.
Oh yeah.
That's fine.
I just have to be 6 inches away from my deployment armor.
Yeah, you've got enough movement between the 3-inch disembark and an 8-inch move that.
Yeah, I can move 11s.
There you go, 10.
Yeah, you've definitely got it. I was trying to think of a way if I could stop you doing it, but I was like, yeah, no, I haven't got anything.
You're gonna get 15 on primary no matter what.
I don't know if I. Yeah. I almost had a heart attack there, chat. I was like, no, Casey, don't move that into threat range. Get it out of here.
That's scary.
That's a 5-point model right there. I'm gonna keep that thing alive. Oh my god.
Right, so 4 fusions into the captain.
Yep.
Actually, I do anything else to get.
Are the champions litanies from this round or last round?
6 rounds. I've rolled them again.
Cool.
One shuriken, no, for fusion.
Yes, he's off to a good start.
Okay.
Yes. 2s.
I have 1 CP, so I'm gonna use it here from the new turn. Forward.
We'll go through. 3 up in buns. 1 goes through.
Alright, be
E6,
chapter
I
master.
need to pre-roll.
He's
Get out of here. You have butchered enough Harlequins for today.
So then this Star River is gonna shoot.
You out. Is that you out of CP again? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm gonna shoot. Chaplain has a free plus, right?
3 up armor, 4 up in bun.
I'm gonna shoot the chaplain.
Cool.
Free save.
Could go down here. Ooh, almost. He's down to 1. Oh.
Okay. So I
would've
have
been a
my
big deal.
scramble.
Because the chaplain's buffing the threat range on this outrider, and the outrider could potentially
you
knock the
got,
Star Reaver out of
15,
the
right?
sky to pull.
So it's
That.
So
it's over anyway.
I think it may come down to
Oh
a
my
Scalky
god!
win
I
here.
was terrified at turn
Yeah, if
2.
he
Yeah.
just
I
stands
thought
still,
that
he's
was
gonna
it.
get
You're gonna
his
get
3 for
4
engage.
engage, and you have to kill like 2 units to get the grind them down.
To be fair, actually, you'd get. So I would get those 2, but there's a chance you would get another 5 for keeping the Star Weaver. So
Yeah,
this is.
let's see if you can kill 2 units, and
Yeah, well.
that's basically the thing you need to do.
Okay, so he's going to. He may as well just move normally because the chaplain gives +6 to charge or +2 to charge, so it should be unfailable anyway. The chaplain himself will advance for fire.
Scalky spotted
4.
back to having to
He'll go
score his
16.
grind them down this turn. Which means that between the
Uh,
entirety of his army, he
May as
has to
well
kill the
advance
Star Weaver
Scouts
and one of these Harlequin troops.
for 2. So they're going to go 8.
His army is a little disparate. There's a non-zero chance that
What was your
gets spiked
litanies?
here,
I
and
reroll
Scalky
runes
loses
and
by
+2 to
1
charge.
point.
I did get him again.
Oh, chat. I have to apologize. I think we called this way too early. The commit into the White Scar's brick on Objective 4 may have been a little bit
So let's pull back the
premature
3
for
from the
Kazazi. I think he would have
grind them
been
down. The 5 from the
better served to just pull
Dagestan,
back
so
for a
we're
turn and
69,
hide on Objective
65.
5, making charges as
It's so funny.
difficult for the
It's so
Harlequin
good.
or for the White Scars as possible. Yeah, James, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm shocked. I don't have a shocked emoji yet. I apologize. I just have. I have hypes. We can get hype. Here's some hypes. Little turtle hypes. Yeah, this last turn is sick, chat. The last round of the game was incredible, and this round, I mean, comes down to Casase's invulnerable saves right now.
Okay. Need to grab the angles. So. I'll do it in the corner and me engage on all. I know. He'll shoot a Stormbotter at those two players, hitting on 4s because he's bracketed, wounding on 3s. 1 wound. Kills 1. We'll do.
All right, 1 player down from
We'll do the 2 Plasma Inceptors.
the
They will not
Impulsor.
overcharge. 3s, rerolling 1s. Twos. 4 wounds. 3.
Ooh, 3 more down to the Inceptors, down to 1.
He has a 12-inch ranger.
He's got a quick range on his little thing.
And then, yeah, Khan could potentially Inzuk. Pop that guy with the Cyber Eagle.
4 up. Oh, they're good for now.
Ooh, leaves him alive. Oh, man.
Over here, I'll do the bike into the Starweaver. Two hits. 1 wound. Good. Land Speeder Storm will shoot him as well. Heavy bolter. 1 hit. No wound. Cerberus Launcher because it is in range.
Got -1 to hit.
Yeah, that's a good point. Hitting on a 4. No. Okay. Damages. These 2 Inceptors will go into that player.
Could you potentially finagle a chain there?
You know,
I think if you get those 2 guys within half of each other, yeah, I think you can potentially get a chain back too.
Khan will go for a long charge. He rolls a 4, that's definitely not going to do it. And up here, you haven't got any CP, right? So.
Nope.
The chaplain himself will go in. He's in. And then the outrider. He's in. Cool. The 2 Inceptors on us. The 1 in combat within 1 inch will do a mortal wound on 6. No. Cool. Should we get the important stuff out of the way first? So the
I like that
chaplain
we're
has
remembering
got
the
4
meteoric
attacks.
descent rule. That is not one
Hitting
that
on
everyone
2s.
remembers that they're Inceptors.
All hit. Strength 5, so winning on 4s, re-rolling.
Alright, big money.
4
4
wins.
wounds coming out of the chaplain.
I'm gonna roll it 1 by 1.
That's fine. Takes 3.
Come on.
Well, maybe don't do
Takes
it.
3.
Oh, no.
Okay, I think that's the only kill that mattered because that knocks
Yeah,
the
yeah,
5
that
off.
is
for what we
it.
said.
You have to kill. You have to kill.
No, because
Yeah,
I don't need grinding down anymore. It doesn't matter what I score for that.
Oh
It's just
my
it's blocked all your
gosh.
while we stand with 5.
That is just White
Oh,
Scar's
man.
victory
Great
for
game,
this
man.
one. That's
Yeah,
incredible.
I shouldn't have gone when I charged the bike into the in the Rhino. I should have just stayed
Yeah,
here.
you should have stayed where you were.
Yeah.
Make me come to you. Make it just a bit more awkward for me to get everything into combat. Because once I hit turn 3, man, I hit like a truck. Like that's my thing, I guess. I spend the first 2 turns running away from you, and then turn 3 and onwards is okay. I'll come and fight you now. Now that
I was
can
thinking
one-shot your
I
bikes.
should have choose banners or something and put down 3 banners for the first 3 turns. I get like 9 points.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
can't
I
really do
think
anything.
my turn 2 was a bit of a mess. I was a bit sad I didn't kill the Yinkan. When I didn't kill the Yinkan, I was like, oh, well, that's probably game. But hey, I guess I got carried by Old Space Marine book, hey?
Not usually take YB fight. Just sometimes, and I always forget to keep her back, so don't die.
Yeah. Well, it's hard because it's a 200 something point model. You want to use it, don't you? But
Well, he can give us 5 points.
Yeah, I suppose when you look at it like that, 5-10 points for keeping a couple characters alive was the difference in this game.
Yeah.
I thought once I had a 0 point turn 2, I had like 3 points on my secondaries. I was like,
oh and the really bad thing was like those 4 bikes didn't kill the 3 wound land speeder, so
yeah,
you can
that sucked.
because
I
then
was so
run
relieved when that
has
happened. I was
questions
like,
for the
oh
players,
my
go
god,
ahead and
thank
put them
god
in
I
the
actually
chat.
have a chance. But yeah, that was
Well,
a great game, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Good fight.
Yeah, guys, that was crazy. I feel like I'm gonna have a heart attack over here. So I have to ask how each of you felt going into the matchup. I know these are both pretty dominant lists right now. So I know Skouki, you had experience in your round 1. Were you how are you feeling about playing into Harlequins this game?
Okay, well, I do know that probably the one faction Harlequins don't want to play against is White Scars. Like, it's not their sort of game, but Harlequins are a faction that can win any game. Like, it really doesn't matter what you put on the board against them. They have all the tools, all the tricks, all the stats to just go, I'm going to win the game. So, I mean, I was also a bit upset that for the 3rd game in this tournament, I'd drawn an army with very little 3-up armor saves for me to use my 300 points of Grav Devs against, but I thought I'd make a try on the Yinkan, seeing as that was the only model I've played against in this tournament with a 3-up save, but that didn't work out. But...
Yeah, that was a really cool move. I don't think I mean, I certainly didn't see that combo coming to lightning disembark those guys on the other side of the table and get that shot. That was really
wanted.
Cool.
I saw it when I misplaced her, so the edge of the base was out of the ruin. I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so hit and miss about whether I was going to put the land speeder on that objective that turn as well, because I was fairly confident I'd kill it, but a part of me was like, oh, you know what, I don't think I will. So I was like, I'd just keep the land speeder away and don't get heroically intervened into. And turned out I didn't kill the Yinkan, so that was at least worthwhile, but yeah, I thought I was screwed, to be honest, after turn 2. I was like, oh well, what can I do now? I've got 3 points on my secondary. I've had a 0 point primary turn. That tends to be pretty much game in most cases.
Yeah, when you gave me first turn, I was like, that's a big risk when you misplaced the Judiciary. I could have killed the whole interceptor unit. I really really bad, but
I don't think I ever want to go first into you because I literally can't do anything worthwhile with a turn 1. And also I'm playing an army that's quite happy to go second. I mean, you'll come in, you'll kill some models, sure, it'll suck, but at least that way you've committed and hopefully you're in range of something I have. Admittedly, I wasn't expecting the Domino Shroud into minus 6-inch range. I thought you were keeping it to get yourself out of a combat, and I was like, that's fine, we'll wait for that. It will happen at some point. But then you did that, I was like, okay, that's not ideal.
Yeah, that was really cool. Also,
because my Inceptors were feeling quite happy about doing a good chunk of wounds there, and then that happened. I was like, oh.
I was worried that you shoot the Shadow Seer with just the Space Marines and just shoot him off the board with the bolters, and then I lose the aura anyway. But...
Yeah. I probably should have done that.
Are
in
you okay if
hindsight.
that happens? Because then the incarn pops over to that side and just like starts cleaning up everything.
Yeah, I was about to. I only put him there. Okay, it's good to not get shot by the interceptors, but if he gets the shuttles here, I go there, I kill those units, I get that objective, so I get 15 points turn one.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
and next turn I can just drag the incarn into the middle of the army, basically. But yeah, sometimes it goes the other way.
Maybe that land speeder was what did it. That not dying. That was a big deal.
I
in the
don't
long
think
run.
any big dice or mistake did it. It was a good game. So
Yeah, it was. It was a great game. Exactly the sort of game you want, really. Close scores, two solid armies, a good back and forth.
maybe should have put the transports closer second turn and do the fusion more things.
Yeah, I thought after your turn one you were going to play super aggressively into me turn two, and I was like, it's sort of. I don't mind someone playing aggressively into me, but I mean, you do just have the chance to hot roll on all of your fusion pistols and just pick up most of my army in one
Should
turn.
have done that on turn two, because then on turn three I can run away and you don't get to smack me with everything.
I feel like if I just eat a full round of fusion pistols to most of my units, there's not much I can do. They kill Primaris so well. I'd rather play against Harlequin troops equipped with melee weapons than I would ones with fusion pistols. But
I think the Domino Shroud is a good relic.
I think it's great. I love the Domino Shroud. I think it's one of the best relics.
Usually use the 9-inch aura, the Shadowstone, but
yeah, because there's this guy I've sort of introduced to the game. He wanted to play Harlequins, and I was like, "You are gonna love this relic because he can just go wherever he feels like at any moment." It's like great. It's like my favourite relic out there at the moment, I think, for nonsense like that. I mean, I knew what it did, and I still got caught by some manoeuvre. So, but yeah, it was a good game.
Yeah, congrats on the win.
Thanks.
Yeah, awesome game, guys. That was super fun to watch. And Skowky, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Can I flip the table now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you go for it. Solid.
Perfect.
Perfect way to end, I think.
All right, thank you guys. See you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
See you around.
Your score's input, so you're good, Skowky. I'll be in touch with you shortly.
All right.
Have a good one, everybody.
And you. See ya. Bye.
All right, everyone. That is going to be it for the stream today. An incredible game to stream. I think we definitely. I mean, I'll cop that one on the chin. I definitely called that one a little bit early. Because AZ having a dominating board presence, dominating the primary and secondary objectives, and Skowky just holding until that White Scar Super Doctrine came into play and killed everything in the Harlequin army in basically 2 fight phases. Insane game. I don't think we could have asked for a better finals game for this Rapid Fire pod. So huge congratulations to Skowky. Both of these players are going to be getting a bunch of points for T5S2 standings points. You can find the ongoing rankings at tts40k.com if anybody's looking for that. Also, just a couple quick reminders. Check us out in the Discord if you haven't yet. We're running tons of events constantly. You can get notifications for upcoming streams, for games that we have going on. We're also going to be some of these emojis that I'm currently flashing, or some of the new ones that we'll have for new YouTube members. That's going to be coming up later this week, so you'll get some exclusive emojis and badges in streams. So that'll be sick. And there'll be more information about that coming in the next couple days. Otherwise, stay tuned for the next stream, everyone. Thanks everyone for watching, taking some time out of their Sunday to play to watch some online 40k. I'm sure some of you guys are going to be playing some online 40k this weekend too. But yeah, keep it classy, folks. Have happy wargaming, and have a good one.